Hello guys, welcome to Saiyan What Ifs. So in this video, we will see, what if Goku became the celestial dragon and fell in love with the cosmic Empress? If you enjoy these kinds of stories, don't forget to show us some love by hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. Your support means the world to us. Now, let's start the story. Chapter 1. Ascension of Scales and Stars. The universe trembled. Across countless galaxies, stars flickered like candles in a hurricane. Planets shifted in their orbits. The very fabric of reality stretched dangerously thin as two powers collided with catastrophic force. Son Goku, defender of Earth and the most powerful Saiyan warrior in existence, foe. UGHT with everything he had against the entropy deity Kronos. Their battle had escalated beyond physical blows. Each strike now fractured dimensional boundaries, each energy blast tore holes in the cosmic weave. You can't win, Saiyan. Kronos hissed, his form shifting between states of matter like a quantum nightmare. My victory means the necessary reset of all creation. The universe has grown too chaotic, too unpredictable. I am its immune response. Blood streamed from a gash above Goku's eye. His legendary orange GI hung in tatters around his muscled frame. Even in his perfected Ultra Instinct form, with silver-white hair shimmering like starlight, he was losing ground. Not from lack of power, but because the battlefield itself was disintegrating. I won't let you erase everything, Goku replied, voice steady despite his ragged breathing. Too many people counting on me. Too many lives worth protecting. Kronos laughed, the sound splintering reality around them. Noble to the end, but you've reached your limit, mortal. Even Saiyans cannot defy cosmic law. Goku narrowed his silver eyes, mind racing. The deity wasn't wrong, his body was failing him. The power of Ultra Instinct had kept him fighting long past when he should have collapsed, but the strain of maintaining it against a cosmic entity was causing cellular damage he couldn't overcome. He needed something more. The realization came as they crashed through an asteroid field, pulverizing celestial rock to cosmic dust. Earth's Dragon Balls had been atomized early in the battle, Kronos making sure no wishes could interfere with his plans. But something of their essence lingered in Goku's awareness, a connection forged through decades of interaction with their power. Shenron. The name resonated through his consciousness as he dodged a blast that annihilated a nearby moon. The Eternal Dragon. A peculiar warmth bloomed in his chest, distinctly different from Ki energy. Kronos pressed his advantage, materia. Lizzing directly behind Goku and driving a reality-warping fist through his guard. The impact sent the Saiyan hurtling through space, blood spraying from his mouth in frozen droplets. I see the realization in your eyes, warrior. Kronos called out, his voice somehow carrying through the vacuum. The acceptance of your failure. But it wasn't acceptance Goku felt as he stabilized himself against the backdrop of a dying star. It was understanding. Through countless battles and transformations, he'd always found the next level when needed most. Perhaps this merging of consciousness with something primal and eternal, was the evolution his universe required. Not failure, Goku replied, straightening his battered frame. Just a different kind of power. He closed his eyes, reaching inward to that strange draconic warmth. The connection had always been there, nascent and waiting. Earth's Dragon Balls were created by Namekians, but they tapped into something far more ancient. Something that recognized Goku as worthy after all these years. What are you attempting? Kronos demanded, cosmic uncertainty flickering across his features for the first time. Goku didn't answer with words. Instead, he threw his head back and roared, a sound no human or Saiyan throat should produce. The cry echoed across dimensions, carrying the name no mortal was meant to know. The true name of the Eternal Dragon. Space-time ruptured. Green-gold light erupted from Goku's form, snaking outward in patterns reminiscent of scales and claws. The light coalesced into the unmistakable serpentine shape of Shenron. Impossibly vast against the canvas of stars, but this manifestation was different. The dragon's eyes blazed with the same silver fire as Goku's Ultra Instinct. Its scales shimmered with the golden energy of a Super Saiyan god. Impossible. Kronos roared, genuine fear contorting his features. Within the heart of the dragon manifestation, Goku felt his consciousness expanding, merging with something ancient and powerful. Shenron's essence responded to his call, finding in him a vessel worthy of ascension. The dragon had always been bound by rules of wish-granting, but its true nature, Agua Rdian of reality itself, was far more complex. "This will change you forever," a voice that was both Shenron's and not whispered through Goku's mind. "I know," Goku answered aloud, serene acceptance washing over him. "But it's the only way. Then it is done." The draconic light contracted violently, compressing into Goku's form with such force that nearby planets shuddered in their orbits. Pain unlike anything he'd ever experienced coursed through him, not the pain of physical damage but of fundamental transformation. His very cells reconstructed themselves into something neither human nor Saiyan nor dragon, but a fusion of cosmic proportions. When the light faded, Goku remained, yet profoundly changed. His hair retained its spiky Saiyan structure but now shimmered with an opalescent quality, shifting between midnight black and the deepest emerald depending on how light struck it. His eyes, once coal black or ultra instinct silver, now gleamed with golden iris and vertical pupils. Faint la patterns shimmered beneath his skin when he moved, visible then vanishing like sunlight on water. His tattered GI had transformed into flowing garments of midnight blue fabric that seemed woven from the cosmos itself. Star points glittering across its surface. Most significantly, power radiated from him in waves that didn't merely impact physical reality but rewrote it. The very constants of physics bent in his presence. Chronos backed away, ancient confidence shattering. "What have you done, Saiyan?" Goku examined his transformed hand with curious detachment, watching as starlight seemed to flow beneath his skin. "I'm not exactly sure," he admitted, his voice carrying new harmonic depths. "But I think I just became what the universe needed." He moved, not with instant transmission but something far more fundamental. Reality simply reconfigured to place him directly before Chronos, no travel required. "This ends now," Goku stated, not as threat but as cosmic fact. Chronos snarled and unleashed his full power, a tempest of entropic force designed to unravel creation. Goku didn't dodge. Instead, he raised one hand and simply disagreed with the attack's existence. The entropy wave folded in on itself, compressed to a pinpoint, and vanished. "That's not possible," Chronos whispered. "You're immortal. You cannot." "I was immortal," Goku corrected, feeling new knowledge unfurling within his consciousness. "Now I'm the celestial dragon. And you're threatening my universe." The battle that followed transcended conventional combat. Chronos wielded powers that had terrorized pantheons, temporal loops, causal inversions, dimensional shearing. Goku countered each with newfound abilities that came to him instinctively, as though he'd always known them. He didn't just fight with energy and strength anymore. He fought with fundamental principles, rewriting small portions of reality with each movement. Their clash illuminated galaxies, visible to civilizations as mysterious auroras painting the darkness. Where Chronos destroyed, Goku restored. Where the entropy deity unraveled, the celestial dragon rewove. Finally, with a move combining the precision of ultra instinct with his new reality-shaping power, Goku struck Chronos at his conceptual core, not destroying the entropy deity but binding him, returning him to his proper function as balancing force rather than universal reset. "The age of indiscriminate destruction is over," Goku pronounced, his voice carrying across dimensions. "Balance doesn't require the death of everything." Chronos, diminished and contained, glared with hatred. "You don't understand what you've become, dragon. The responsibilities, the cosmic laws you're now bound by, the forces that will hunt you." "Probably not," Goku admitted with a flicker of his old carefree grin. "But I'll figure it out. I always do." With a gesture that bent space-time, he banished Chronos to a dimensional pocket where the entity could fulfill his purpose without threatening existence itself. The immediate danger had passed, but Goku's transformation had only begun. He floated amid the cosmic aftermath, trying to process the changes within him. His consciousness extended beyond his physical form, sensing disturbances across galaxies, feeling the pulse of distant stars, hearing the whispered prayers of countless beings. The dragon essence within him responded to these calls, urging him to answer, to grant, to reshape. "Whoa," he breathed, overwhelmed by the sensory input. "This is a lot." A ripple in reality interrupted his adjustment, a disturbance. far more controlled than Kronos' chaos. Space folded elegantly before him, opening like the petals of a cosmic flower. Through this dimensional aperture stepped a woman unlike any being Goku had encountered in his extensive adventures across universes. She stood tall and regal, her skin a deep midnight blue scattered with points of light like embedded stars. Her hair, if it could be called that, flowed around her in silver-white tendrils that moved independently of any physical laws, forming complex patterns that conveyed emotions beyond language. She wore armor that seemed grown rather than forged, pearlescent material flowing over her athletic form in protective plates. A circlet of unknown cosmic material crowned her head, 7 crystalline points capturing and refracting light in impossible ways. Most striking were her eyes, solid luminous silver with no pupil or iris, yet conveying a depth of awareness that made even Goku's new cosmic consciousness feel primitive. "So," she said, her voice resonating on multiple frequencies simultaneously, "Earth's champion has ascended to dragonhood. The prophecy awakens." Goku blinked, still disoriented from his transformation. Hello, I'm Goku, and you are." The woman's expression tightened with something between amusement and disdain. "I am Lyra, Empress of the Astral Dominion, keeper of the Cosmic Accord," and apparently, her silver eyes narrowed. "The one who must determine whether your existence is a benefit or catastrophe for the greater universe." She made a fluid gesture, and the space around them transformed. The EMPTY vacuum gave way to what appeared to be a vast observatory platform suspended among stars, crystal floors reflecting constellations beneath their feet. Celestial mechanisms of impossible complexity rotated overhead, mapping movements across multiple dimensions. "Welcome to the observation nexus," Lyra stated, moving to a central dais. "One of many outposts from which I maintain order across 10,000 galaxies." Goku glanced around, impressed despite his disorientation. "Nice place. Listen, I'm still figuring out what just happened to me. If you know something about this dragon transformation, I know everything about it." She interrupted sharply. The celestial dragons were the first shapers of reality after the primordial chaos. They established the fundamental laws, created the concepts of time and space, then vanished from the cosmic record billions of years ago. Their return is the subject of prophecies across thousands of civilizations. She made another gesture, and a holographic display materialized between them, ancient symbols that shifted and changed, depicting a serpentine figure consuming and recreating worlds. "Some prophecies speak of restoration and balance," she continued, her voice cooler now. "Others foretell consumption and oblivion. Which incarnation are you, Son Goku of Earth?" The directness of her question caught him off guard. Despite his new cosmic awareness, Goku retained his fundamental personality, straightforward and honest. "I just want to protect people," he answered simply. "Same as always. These new powers are complicated. But my heart hasn't changed." Lyra studied him with those disconcerting silver eyes, seeming to peer directly into his soul. Whatever she saw there caused a minute shift in her expression. "Interesting," she murmured. "You possess power that could reshape reality on a whim, yet your concerns remain local and personal. Most beings undergo complete personality dissociation during cosmic ascension." Goku shrugged. "I've been transforming into new forms my whole life. The power changes, but I'm still me." A subtle chime resonated through the observatory, drawing Lyra's attention to one of the celestial mechanisms. Her expression hardened. "It seems your emergence has already attracted attention," she said. "The void stirs. Shadow entities are converging on this sector, drawn to new dragon energy like predators to blood." Before Goku could respond, reality fractured several kilometers away. Unlike Lyra's controlled dimensional aperture, this was a violent tear, darkness boiling through like ink in water. From this rift emerged writhing forms of negative space, their movements wrong in ways that distressed the mind. "Void hunters," Lyra hissed, her armor flowing into more aggressive configurations. "They feed on cosmic energy. A newly ascended dragon is an irresistible feast." Goku shifted instinctively into a fighting stance, the movement causing starlight to cascade across his new draconic features. "Then they're about to get indigestion." The Void Hunters sensed them immediately, their non-forms surging across space. They moved like three-dimensional shadows, absorbing light and energy as they approached. Lyra's hands wove complex patterns, silver energy forming a protective barrier around the observatory. They cannot be destroyed conventionally, she warned. They exist as concept to Al inversions, anti-being rather than matter. Goku nodded, processing this information through his expanded consciousness. So they're like the opposite of existence itself. Interesting. He stepped forward, passing through Lyra's barrier as though it were mist. She made a sound of protest, but he was already beyond the observatory's edge, hovering in open space to face the approaching entities. The nearest hunter lunged, darkness extending pseudopods of null energy. Goku didn't evade. Instead, he reached out with both his physical hand and his new cosmic awareness, grasping the concept of the creature rather than its form. You don't belong here, he stated simply, dragon gold eyes flaring. The hunter writhed in his conceptual grip as Goku rewrote its fundamental nature. Not destroying it, he instinctively understood that would create dangerous imbalance, but reconfiguring its hunger, redirecting its purpose toward consuming entropy rather than creation. The transformed entity shuddered, its darkness taking on subtle iridescence before shooting away into deep space, now hunting the very forces it had once embodied. Lyra's silver eyes widened. Impossible, she whispered. You rewrote its conceptual framework without causal collapse. Goku turned to the remaining hunters, which now hesitated in their approach. Anyone else hungry? He called out, a hint of his old battle enthusiasm returning. Or would you rather find something else to eat? The void entities retreated, slipping back through their rift, which sealed itself in their wake. Goku returned to the observatory platform, rolling his shoulders as though he'd completed nothing more strenuous than a light workout. They seemed reasonable enough once they understood the situation. Lyra stared at him, her cosmic features unreadable. You just casually repurposed a void hunter, something the combined cosmic council has failed to achieve in millennia of trying, and you talk about it like you've shooed away a stray animal. Well, they're just looking for food, right? Better to point them towards something that actually needs eating. He grinned, the expression transforming his draconic features into something unexpectedly warm. A moment of silence stretched between them before Lyra's composure cracked slightly. The barest hint of a smile touched her lips before she mastered it. Perhaps the prophecies of restoration deserve more consideration than I initially believed, she conceded. Though your methods are unorthodox. The observatory's mechanisms suddenly spun into new configurations, alarm frequencies resonating through the structure. Lyra's attention snapped to a crystalline display that flared with urgent light patterns. Multiple distress signals, she reported, all hint of her momentary warmth vanishing. A populated system at the edge of the Cygnus arm, 3 habitable worlds under simultaneous attack. Void incursion on an unprecedented scale. Goku's expression sharpened. Related to those hunters. Unlikely. This bears the signature of coordinated assault. Her hands manipulated the crystalline controls. I must respond. This system falls under my protection. I'll come with you, Goku offered immediately. Lyra regarded him with surprise. This isn't your concern, Dragon. These worlds have no connection to your Earth. People in danger is always my concern, he replied, the CMPLI of his statement contrasting with the cosmic power now radiating from him. Besides, I need to figure out what I can do with these new abilities. Might as well make myself useful. Before Lyra could respond, another dimensional rift opened directly within the observatory, this one neither the violent tear of the Void Hunters nor Lyra's controlled aperture, but something between states, shimmering with quantum uncertainty. Through this impossible opening stepped a slender figure that seemed to exist in multiple places simultaneously, her outline blurring and reforming with each motion. Her skin shifted through spectrums visible and invisible, her hair floating in patterns that matched no known physical forces. She wore what appeared to be a bodysuit composed of mathematical equations given physical form. Symbols and formulas flowing across her body in constant recalculation. Empress, the newcomer greeted, her voice fluctuating between frequencies. The probability nexus is destabilizing. I've tracked the causal chain too. She stopped abruptly, multispectral eyes fixing on Goku. Oh, the dragon awakens. That explains the dimensional harmonics. Saren, Lyra acknowledged tensely. Your timing is either impeccable or suspicious. The quantum woman, Saren, smiled in a way that suggested she existed simultaneously in multiple emotional states. Timing is merely probability made manifest, Empress. You know I surf the waves of likelihood. Her shifting gaze never left Goku. The dragon's emergence has rewritten cosmic probability streams. Paths once closed are now viable. Futures once certain have dissolved. She moved closer to Goku, or perhaps reality reconfigured to place her nearer to him without conventional movement. You've created beautiful chaos in the cosmic algorithm, she told him. Voice conveying something like delight. Goku found himself fascinated by her impossible existence. I'm Goku. You're a dimension walker. Saren, void walker, navigator of the probability ocean. She performed a gesture that might have been a bow if it hadn't involved her arm briefly existing in 4 places simultaneously. Once a quantum physicist from a civilization long collapsed into entropy. Now something less defined. She's my most valuable scout, Lyra interjected, though her methods and loyalties remain conveniently fluid. Saren's expression rippled through several emotions at once. I am loyal to existence itself, Empress. The cosmic balance transcends political considerations. The Cygnus system needs immediate intervention, Lyra responded sharply. Your quantum observations can wait. Quote, the attacks are not random, Saren countered, suddenly serious across all her probability states. They're bait. Something has sensed the dragon's awakening and seeks to draw him out. Goku straightened, his draconic features becoming more pronounced. Someone's attacking innocent worlds to get to me. Yes and no and both simultaneously, Saren answered. Her form briefly separating into multiple versions before reconverging. Probability suggests an entity operating from the dimensional shadows, testing your new nature without directly confronting you. Lyra's silver eyes narrowed. Shadow Dominion involvement. 83% probable, Saren confirmed. The Shadow Emperor has long sought dragon essence for his collection. Goku's expression hardened, golden eyes flaring. Then we'd better disappoint him. People are dying while we're talking. Your eagerness to help strangers is statistically anomalous for a cosmic entity, Saren observed. Her head tilting at a mathematically perfect angle. Fascinating. Lyra made a decisive gesture, and the observatory platform began reconfiguring around them. We'll take the astral conduit. Saren, scout ahead and calculate intervention points for maximum effectiveness. Saren nodded, her head briefly existing in several positions at once, before her form blurred and vanished, the dimensional rift collapsing behind her. The observatory had transformed into what Goku recognized as some form of transport chamber, though the technology operated on principles beyond conventional understanding. Stellar maps projected around them as Lyra placed her hands on a crystalline control matrix. The journey will take moments through folded space, she explained. When we arrive, follow my tactical direction. These are my protectorate worlds, and I won't have them destroyed by reckless combat. Goku nodded, though a hint of his old confident smile returned. I can be careful when needed. But these shadow guys need to learn attacking innocent people is a bad way to get my attention. The transportation chamber hummed with increasing energy, stars blurring around them as space-time folded. Lyra's silver eyes met his golden ones briefly. Perhaps we'll discover which dragon you truly are, Goku of Earth, she said quietly. Creator or destroyer. The astral conduit activated, reality shifted, and they vanished toward a distant system under siege. They emerged above a blue-green world wreathed in smoke and fire. From orbit, Goku could see cities burning, oceans boiling in localized areas, massive shadow constructs moving across the landscape like living darkness. 2 other planets were visible nearby, one amber-hued with ring systems, the other smaller and purple-tinged. Both showed similar patterns of devastation, shadow entities swarming across their surfaces. The Trilithian system, Lyra stated, her voice tight with controlled anger. 17 billion sentient beings across 3 worlds. Peaceful, advanced, under my direct protection. The cosmic Empress radiated such intense fury that the space around her distorted. This is a deliberate provocation. The Shadow Dominion knows these worlds are special to me. Goku absorbed the scale of destruction, his new senses allowing him to feel the terror and pain of billions below. Where once he might have rushed in immediately. His draconic consciousness provided strategic awareness he'd never possessed before. They want me to respond emotionally, he observed. To reveal my capabilities while trying to save everyone at once. Lyra's silver eyes flickered to him with surprise. Yes, exactly. Then we don't play their game. Goku closed his eyes briefly, extending his cosmic awareness across the system. These shadow things, they're not just destroying randomly. They're following patterns, targeting power centers, defense systems, population hubs. Coordinated assault, Lyra confirmed. Directed by a Void Architect, likely orbiting the system beyond conventional detection. Goku opened his eyes, which now blazed with intensified golden light. I can feel him, the commander. He's hiding between dimensions, watching. Waiting for me. A subtle smile curved his lips, not his usual carefree grin, but something more predatory. Let's surprise him. Before Lyra could respond, reality rippled around Goku as he implemented his plan, not through conscious thought but intuitive understanding of his new powers. He didn't teleport in the conventional sense. Instead, he created a localized probability field where he simultaneously existed in thousands of locations across all 3 planets. To the people of the Trilithian system, it appeared as though a draconic savior had manifested everywhere at once, a gold-eyed figure in cosmic blue garments who moved with impossible speed and precision, intercepting shadow attacks moments before they struck. Goku experienced it differently, his consciousness divided and multiplied, each instance fully aware yet connected to his central self. He fought thousands of battles simultaneously, using physical combat where effective, cosmic negation where necessary, and elite restructuring for the most dangerous threats. His fighting style remained recognizable, the perfect fusion of techniques mastered across a lifetime of martial arts study, but elevated to cosmic scale. Kamehameha waves now carried fundamental creation energy rather than ki. Physical strikes redistributed probability rather than merely transferring force. From her position above the system, Lyra watched in astonishment as shadow entities across all 3 worlds suddenly found themselves engaged by what appeared to be the same defender in countless locations. She had witnessed many cosmic entities in her long existence, but none had adapted to their powers with such intuitive efficiency. Meanwhile, Goku's true self was executing the second phase of his strategy. While his probability duplicates occupied the invasion forces, his primary consciousness slipped between dimensional layers, following the subtle command signature to its source. He found the Void Architect exactly where his draconic senses had detected it, in a pocket dimension adjacent to normal space, observing the assault through a one-way viewer. The entity resembled a hunched humanoid composed entirely of liquid shadow, multiple eyes of burning violet floating within its amorphous form. Hello, Goku said simply, manifesting within the supposedly impenetrable command chamber. The architect recoiled in shock, its shadow form rippling with distortion. Impossible, it hissed in a voice like escaping steam. This dimension is sealed against intrusion. Maybe to most beings, Goku acknowledged, examining the chamber with curiosity. Various shadow constructs lined the walls, tools for manipulating void energy and commanding the invasion forces. But dragons existed before dimensions had rules. At least, that's what I'm starting to understand. The architect's multiple eyes narrowed. So the rumors are true. A new celestial dragon awakens. It recovered its composure quickly, shadow substance flowing into a more dignified configuration. My emperor will be most interested in studying you. Your emperor is attacking innocent worlds to get my attention, Goku replied, his voice hardening. That stops now. The architect made a sound like dark amusement. You misunderstand, dragon. This is merely a calibration exercise, measuring your response patterns, reaction times, power thresholds. The data alone is worth the expenditure of invasion forces. Goku stepped forward, golden eyes flaring. Those are people dying down there. Not data points. Irrelevant organisms with fleeting existences, the architect dismissed. The Shadow Emperor takes a longer view. These civilizations would perish eventually regardless. Something shifted in Goku's expression, a flicker of the righteous anger that had fueled his most powerful moments throughout his fighting career. His draconic features became more pronounced, faint scale patterns rippling across his skin. Call off your forces, he stated, not a request but a cosmic imperative. The architect straightened to its full height, shadow substance coalescing into combat formation. You have no authority here, new dragon. This is Shadow Dominion business. The invasion continues until we have sufficient observational data. Goku didn't move physically. Instead, he extended his will into the fundamental structure of the pocket dimension itself, his Draco. Nick essence interfacing with the building blocks of reality. With a thought that was barely conscious, he rewrote the dimensional properties around them. The architect's command signals, previously INV, iceable streams of void energy connecting it to the invasion forces, suddenly materialized as visible tendrils throughout the chamber. At the same moment, the dimensional barriers inverted, transforming the one-way viewer into a window through which the populations of all three worlds could see their attacker. I think they deserve to know who's responsible for their suffering, Goku said quietly. He architect recoiled as billions of eyes across the Trilithian system turned toward it. What have you done? Created transparency, Goku replied. Now, about those invasion forces. With a gesture, he grasped the now visible command tendrils, not severing them but redirecting their purpose. Throughout the three worlds, shadow entities froze mid-attack, then began to withdraw, flowing back toward their dimensional entry points. No, the architect shrieked, attempting to reassert control. The Emperor will have your essence for this interference. Goku's expression remained calm. Your forces are leaving. They won't return to these worlds. And you're going to deliver a message to your Emperor. He stepped closer, cosmic energy cascading around him in draconic patterns. I don't want trouble with the Shadow Dominion. But attacking innocent people to get to me is unacceptable. If your Emperor wants to meet me, there are better ways to extend an invitation. The architect hissed, its shadow form rippling with hatred. The Shadow Dominion does not negotiate with lesser entities. I'm not negotiating, Goku clarified, his voice carrying new harmonic depths. I'm setting boundaries. There's a difference. With that, he expanded his consciousness once more, simultaneously existing in all locations where his probability duplicates fought. In a synchronized movement across three worlds, those duplicates gathered the retreating shadow forces and escorted them back to their dimensional entry points. Lyra, observing from orbit, felt the cosmic power signature of Goku's action, a coordinated manipulation of reality across an entire star system. Such precision from a newly ascended entity should have been impossible. In the command chamber, Goku faced the architect one final time. Your data collection is complete. The conclusion should be obvious. Don't threaten innocent lives to reach me. It won't work out well. Before the shadow entity could respond, Goku dissolved the pocket dimension entirely, carefully restructuring reality to deposit the architect back in its home realm while returning himself to orbit alongside Lyra. He reappeared beside the cosmic Empress, looking somewhat drained but satisfied. The shadow invasion had completely withdrawn, dimensional rifts sealing across all three worlds. Lyra stared at him with undisguised astonishment. You coordinated a multi-planetary defense, located a dimensionally hidden commander, rewrote pocket reality, and forced a Shadow Dominion retreat, all within minutes of arriving. Goku rolled his shoulders, a surprising, mundane gesture for a being who had just performed cosmic miracles. They weren't expecting someone who could see their commander. Once that advantage was gone, they didn't have much choice. The Shadow Dominion has laid waste to entire galaxies, Lyra pointed out. They don't retreat, ever. First time for everything, Goku replied with a hint of his old carefree attitude. Then more serious, the people down there, they'll need help rebuilding. Lyra's expression softened fractionally. My stewardship forces are already responding. The Trilithian worlds are resilient. They will recover. She studied him with new consideration in her silver eyes. You fought to protect strangers with the same commitment you would show your own world. Why? The question seemed to surprise Goku. Why wouldn't I? People in danger are people in danger, doesn't matter where they're from. Before Lyra could respond, space shimmered as Saren materialized beside them, her probability form stabilizing into its most coherent state. Spectacular reconfiguration of shadow space interfaces, she commented, multispectral eyes analyzing Goku with new interest. 97% of probable outcomes involved system-wide devastation. You navigated the improbable path with remarkable intuition. Goku smiled at the quantum being. Sometimes you have to make your own probability. Saren's form rippled with what might have been laughter. A dragon who understands quantum philosophy. The cosmic algorithm grows more beautiful with your every action. A subtle tension flickered across Lyra's features at this exchange, quickly masked behind regal composure. The immediate threat has passed, but the Shadow Dominion will not forget this defeat. We should return to secure space for strategic assessment. She gestured, preparing to reactivate the astral conduit, when Goku suddenly stiffened, his draconic senses detecting something the others had not yet perceived. "Wait," he said, golden eyes fixed on seemingly empty space. "Something's coming. Something familiar." The fabric of reality distorted once more, not the violent tear of void hunters or the calculated precision of Lyra's portals or even Saren's quantum fluctuations. This was something raw and primal, a connection to the very source of draconic power. A figure emerged from this distortion, humanoid but ancient beyond comprehension. T's form shifted between states of existence, sometimes appearing as an elderly man in ornate robes, sometimes as a draconic entity of pure energy. Golden eyes identical to Goku's regarded him with measured interest. "The awakening is complete," the entity stated, its voice resonating on multiple planes simultaneously. "The first new celestial dragon in 7 billion years." Lyra immediately dropped to one knee, head bowed in a gesture of profound respect that contrasted sharply with her usual imperious demeanor. "Elder Trazeth," she breathed. "Honor to the Ancient One." Saren's probability for stabilized completely, another unprecedented occurrence, as she too knelt. "The Dragon Oracle," she whispered. "Existence graces us with improbable fortune." Goku alone remained standing, not out of disrespect but simple unfamiliarity. "You're like me," he observed, sensing the draconic essence that mirrored his own. The elder's expression might have been amusement. "No, young one, you are like me. I am what remains of the original celestial dragons, keeper of the ancient knowledge, guardian of the cosmic balance." He moved closer, studying Goku with eyes that saw beyond physical form. "Your ascension was unexpected. A Saiyan warrior merging with a lesser dragon construct, unprecedented. Yet your heart carries the true spark. The dragon fire burns within you." "I don't understand any of this," Goku admitted honestly. "I was just trying to stop Kronos from destroying everything. And in doing so, you fulfilled prophecy." The elder gestured, creating a stellar display between them. Constellations rearranging to show draconic patterns. When darkness threatened to consume all light, the warrior with the heart of a child would embrace his true nature and awaken the slumbering scales of creation. Goku blinked. "That's oddly specific." "Prophecy often is," the elder replied with the first hint of identifiable emotion, something like dry humor. "Though interpreters rarely understand the literal meaning until after fulfillment." Lyra rose cautiously from her kneel. "Elder, does this mean the time of scales has begun? The restoration of the draconic legacy?" The ancient being's form shifted, momentarily revealing a more fully draconic aspect before settling back into humanoid appearance. "The future remains unwritten, Empress. But the emergence of a new celestial dragon changes the fundamental equations of existence." His golden gaze returned to Goku. "You stand at a crossroads, young dragon. Your choices will shape cosmic destiny for ages to come. The power you now wield can create or destroy on scales beyond comprehension." "I just want to protect people," Goku stated simply. "That hasn't changed." "A worthy beginning." The elder nodded approvingly. "But you, Saint, learn to balance immediate compassion with eternal consequence. The perspective of a celestial dragon transcends time itself." He gestured again, and a small crystalline object materialized before Goku. A scale-shaped pendant suspended in the air. "Take this. When you are ready to learn the full history of what you have become, activate it with a drop of your essence. I will answer your call." Goku accepted the pendant, feeling it resonate with his transformed nature. "Thank you. I have a feeling I'm going to need guidance." "More than you yet realize," the elder confirmed. His attention shifted briefly to Lyra. "Empress of Stars, your destiny intertwines with the new dragon. The ancient pacts between our kinds are remembered." A barely perceptible flush darkened Lyra's midnight blue features before she mastered her expression. "I serve the cosmic balance, Elder One." "As always." The ancient dragon turned lastly to Saren. "Walker between, your calculations led you true. Continue to navigate the probability streams with care. The shadows grow hungry for certainty in these changing times." Saren's multispectral eyes widened. You have awareness of my quantum trajectories. I have awareness of many things. Child of science and void. The elder's form began to shimmer, preparing to depart, including the gathering storm that approaches. The Shadow Emperor will not accept today's defeat as final. He addressed them all with final words that carried the weight of cosmic law. The dragon awakens. The Empress guides. The walker navigates. Ancient roles renewed as the cycle turns once more. With that cryptic pronouncement, reality folded around him, and the elder vanished, returning to whatever domain such ancient beings inhabited between interventions in cosmic affairs. Mom. End of profound silence followed his departure. Goku stared at the crystalline pendant in his palm, feeling its connection to secrets and history beyond his understanding. Lyra's silver eyes remained fixed on the space where the elder had stood, her expression unreadable. Saren's form flickered through probability states as she processed the encounter. Well, Goku finally said, breaking the silence, that was informative. Despite herself, Lyra made a sound that might have been a suppressed laugh. The Dragon Oracle appears once in a millennium to most cosmic entities. His brief visits typically change the course of universal history. And you describe the experience as informative. Goku shrugged, a surprisingly human gesture from a being now wrapped in cosmic power. I've learned that no matter how powerful someone is, getting overwhelmed doesn't help. Better to just take things as they come. Saren's form stabilized again as she regarded him with growing fascination. Your ability signature is unlike anything in my calculations. You consistently manifest the least likely outcomes as though they were inevitable. The warrior with the heart of a child, Lyra murmured, recalling the elder's words. More clearly, she added, we should return to secure space. The emergence of a new celestial dragon will send ripples across multiple dimensions. Others besides the Shadow Dominion will take notice. She reactivated the astral conduit, preparing for their departure from the now safe Trilithian system. As the transport energies gathered around them, she studied Goku with new consideration. Elder Trazith spoke of our destinies being intertwined, she noted carefully. The cosmic pacts between dragons and star sovereigns are complex. Another thing I'll need to learn about, Goku replied, still examining the crystalline pendant. This is all happening pretty fast. Yesterday I was just a Saiyan trying to protect Earth. Now I'm apparently fulfilling ancient prophecies. As the astral conduit activated and reality began to fold around them, Saren's multispectral eyes met his. Change is the only universal constant, she observed. Even for cosmic entities. The transport completed, returning them to Lyra's observatory nexus among the stars. Goku stepped from the conduit platform, his transformed appearance catching starlight in ways that emphasized his new draconic nature. So what now? He asked, facing the two cosmic women who had unexpectedly become part of his new existence. I need to check on Earth eventually, but first I should probably figure out what being a celestial dragon actually means. Lyra moved to the central controls of her observatory, stellar maps materializing around her. Now, she said with newfound resolve, we prepare. The Shadow Emperor will view today's events as both challenge and opportunity. The Void Architect was merely a scout. What comes next will test even draconic power. Saren nodded, her form fragmenting fly into probability echoes before reconverging. I'll monitor the quantum fluctuations for disturbances. The shadow paths are already shifting in response to your emergence. As the two cosmic entities began their preparations, Goku found himself staring out at the vast starfields beyond the observatory. His new senses perceived not just light and energy, but the intricate connections between all things, the fundamental patterns underlying existence itself. Somewhere within that cosmic tapestry was Earth, his home, his friends, his family. They would barely recognize what he had become. He barely recognized it himself. The crystalline pendant felt warm against his palm, pulsing faintly with ancient knowledge waiting to be unlocked. The dragon essence within him responded to that pulse, recognizing its kin across the vast gulf of time. Celestial dragon, he murmured, testing the weight of the title. Golden eyes reflected starlight as a slight smile curved his lips. Guess I better make it count. Behind him, Lyra paused in her work, silver eyes lingering on his transformed figure for a moment longer than necessary. The prophecy of the dragon's return had been part of cosmic lore since before her ascension to Empress. That it should happen during her stewardship, and through this unexpectedly straightforward warrior with his strange combination of cosmic power and simple compassion, seemed like destiny's peculiar humor. The ancient pacts between dragons and star sovereigns were indeed complex, and often, as forgotten histories recorded, passionate in nature. She turned back to her stellar maps. Pushing such thoughts aside, the Shadow Dominion was moving. War approached. The new celestial dragon would need guidance in the battles to come, both external and internal. Beyond the observatory, the cosmos continued its eternal dance, stars burning, planets turning, life evolving. But something fundamental had changed with Goku's transformation. A power thought lost to the universe had returned. The age of scales had begun. Chapter 2. Harmony and Discord. Immortality tasted like spiced honey, Goku decided. The celestial nectar swirled in his crystalline goblet, releasing aromas of starlight and possibilities as he gazed across the floating gardens of Lyra's inner sanctum. 7 days had passed since his transformation, though time felt increasingly meaningless to his expanding consciousness. "You're adapting remarkably well," Lyra observed, reclined on a lounging couch formed from living stardust. Her midnight blue skin captured and released light in gentle pulses that matched her relaxed mood. Most newly ascended entities experience severe dissociation for decades. Goku rolled the goblet between his fingers, watching iridescence dance across the liquid surface. "I've had practice changing forms. This one's just bigger." Understatement of the cosmic epic, Saren commented from where she hovered cross-legged above a meditation pool. Her probability F. Orm flickered occasionally between states as she monitored dimensional frequencies. "You've integrated dragon essence at 97% efficiency. The algorithm finds this statistically improbable." The gardens around them defied conventional understanding of botany. Plants made of crystallized time grew alongside flowers that bloomed in 5 dimensions simultaneously. Fountains of liquid starlight created ever-changing patterns that spoke to something primal in Goku's new draconic nature. This private sanctuary orbited at the heart of Astral Command, Lyra's central base of operations on which she monitored and governed her vast domains. The enormous space station housed thousands of her celestial sentinels, diplomatic envoys from hundreds of civilizations, and technology beyond mortal comprehension. "I still can't believe you have your own personal dimension just for gardens," Goku said, gesturing at the impossible landscape stretching around them. Lyra's silver eyes sparkled with subtle amusement. "Even cosmic empresses require respite. Governing 10,000 galaxies demands occasional moments of tranquility." She rose with fluid grace, her flowing garments of star silk rippling around her athletic frame. Unlike the formal armor she wore for official functions, here she dressed in simpler clothing that emphasized her natural beauty rather than intimidating power. "Besides," she continued, approaching a blossoming tree whose flowers opened to reveal miniature galaxies, "the cultivation of beauty is a worthy pursuit in itself. The cosmos provides such magnificent raw materials." Goku watched her tend the cosmic plants with genuine affection, revealing a softer side beneath her imperial facade. In the weeks since arriving at Astral Command, he'd begun to glimpse the woman behind the Empress, passionate, dedicated, and far more complex than her regal persona suggested. "I should probably thank you," he said, setting aside his goblet. "For all this. The training facilities, the knowledge archives. Letting me stay here while I figure things out." Lyra's fingers paused mid-adjustment of a crystalline bloom. "The emergence of a celestial dragon is a matter of universal significance. Your presence here is logical. Still, it's nice having guides who understand all this cosmic stuff." He gestured to himself, where subtle scale patterns still appeared and disappeared beneath his skin with emotional shifts. "I'd be pretty lost trying to figure it all out alone." Saren's form shimmered as she rejoined the conversation. "Probability suggests you would have managed regardless. Your adaptation curve defies conventional mathematics." "Mathematics only tell part of the story," Lyra countered, returning to her couch with a rare flower cupped in her palms. "The dragon essence responds to worthiness, not calculation." As they spoke, Goku extended his awareness outward, practicing the cosmic perception he'd been developing. His consciousness brushed against the thousands of beings aboard Astral Command, then further to the surrounding star systems, sensing life and energy patterns across vast distances. The expanded awareness still disoriented him occasionally, but each day brought greater control. His attention snapped back to immediate surroundings when a celestial sentinel materialized at the garden's entrance, a humanoid figure composed of living stardust encased in ornate armor. "Empress," the sentinel announced, its voice resonating on harmonic frequencies. "The elemental sovereign requests immediate audience." Her transmission indicates critical urgency. Lyra's relaxed demeanor instantly transformed into imperial authority. "Connect her to the garden nexus." The sentinel bowed and gestured. Above the meditation pool, reality distorted as a communication portal opened. Through this dimensional window appeared the face of a woman whose features seemed in constant flux, skin shifting between earth tones, hair like flowing water one moment and flickering flame the next. Eyes cycling through colors representing primal elements. "Empress," the elemental woman began without preamble, her voice carrying undertones of cracking stone and rushing wind. "The Nexus is under attack. Shadow entities have breached the outer sanctums. The primary seals are failing." Lyra rose immediately, regal authority radiating from her posture. "The mental nexus is supposed to be impenetrable to void energy, Kaya. How is this possible? They've developed some new technology, anti-elemental disruption fields." Kaya's expression conveyed both fury and concern as her features continued shifting between elemental states. "They're destabilizing the primal patterns, corrupting the pure elements before my guardians can intercept them." Behind her, Goku glimpsed chaotic scenes, massive chambers where fundamental forces raged in their purest forms, now threatened by encroaching darkness. Elemental guardians, beings composed of singular forces, battle shadowy intruders with increasing desperation. "If they corrupt the Nexus," Kaya continued urgently, "elemental stability across 17 sectors will collapse. Billions will die as planetary systems lose fundamental coherence." Goku stepped forward, golden draconic eyes narrowing as he studied the scenes visible through the portal. "Those shadow things, they're different from the ones we fought in the Trilithian system." Kaya noticed him for the first time, her shifting features freezing momentarily in surprise. "As that, the new celestial dragon?" "Yes," Lyra confirmed. "Son Goku of Earth, meet Kaya. Sovereign of the elemental nexus, guardian of the primal forces." Kaya's elemental eyes widened, features shifting to a state of molten stone and amber light. "The dragon prophecy manifests in our time. The cosmic wheel turns faster than expected." Explanations later, Lyra interrupted sharply. "Prepare for immediate reinforcement. I'll deploy the celestial sentinels and accompany them myself." Goku studied the chaos visible behind Kaya, processing information through both mortal instinct and draconic awareness. "This is another attempt to draw me out, isn't it? Like the Trilithian attack, Saren's probability form stabilized into unusual clarity. 98% likelihood. The Shadow Emperor escalates his strategy, attacking a fundamental cosmic nexus guarantees you're at tension while forcing you to reveal more capabilities. Then he's got it," Goku stated, unconsciously radiating draconic energy that caused nearby cosmic plants to evolve rapidly. "I'm not letting lions die because some shadow guy wants to study me." Lyra turned to him, silver eyes intense. "This could be exactly the trap the Shadow Dominion is setting. The elemental nexus is one of the most important cosmic structures in existence. If corrupted, it could destabilize reality across multiple galaxies. All the more reason to stop them," Goku replied simply. Through the portal, Kaya's Empress Scion showed a mixture of hope and skepticism. If he truly carries dragon essence, his presence could be decisive. "The elemental forces will recognize draconic authority. They were originally set in motion by the celestial dragons eons ago." Quote. Lyra hesitated only briefly before nodding. "Prepare the astral conduit for immediate transport to the Nexus. Alert the celestial sentinels for combat deployment." As the communication portal closed, she turned to Goku with uncharacteristic intensity. "The elemental nexus is sacred ground, the wellspring from which fundamental forces flow throughout the cosmos. If you unleash your full power there without proper control, you could cause as much damage as the Shadow Dominion." "I'll be careful," Goku promised, his expression serious. "I'm getting better at controlling these new abilities." "You'll need to be perfect, not better," she replied sharply. Then, With visible effort to soften her tone, the Nexus responds to intent as much as action. Your poo. Re-heart may be your greatest asset there. Saren rose from her meditation, probability field contracting into her most solid form. I'll scout the dimensional approaches. The shadow forces must be us. Ing non-standard vectors to penetrate the Nexus barriers. As they moved swiftly from the garden sanctuary toward Astral Command's transport hub, Lyra's armor flowed over her body, transforming her AP. Appearance from garden enthusiast to cosmic warrior Empress. Ornate plates of living metal shaped themselves to her form while maintaining perfect flexibility, her silver-white hair coalescing into a street. Ruptured configuration beneath her crown of office. This attack represents a significant escalation, she explained as they walked. The elemental nexus exists at the crossroads of multiple dimensions, maintaining the stability of fundamental forces across billions of worlds. Even the Shadow Dominion has respected its neutrality until now. Goku nodded, his own clothing shifting subtly to a kimono. Date the coming battle, the midnight blue fabric becoming more structured without losing its flexibility. Why would they risk universal instability? Wouldn't that hurt them too? The Shadow Emperor desires power above all else. Lyra answered grimly. If he believes he can harness corrupted elemental forces, he may consider the risk acceptable. They reached the transport chamber, a vast spherical space where reality could be manipulated for rapid transit across cosmic distances. Hundreds of celestial sentinels assembled in perfect formation, their star-forged armor gleaming under the chamber's illumination. Saren had already vanished, her quantum nature allowing her to traverse dimensions without conventional transportation. She would arrive at the Nexus well before them, analyzing vulnerabilities and shadow entry points. As the transport technicians prepared the astral conduit for immediate departure, Lyra turned to Goku one final time. The elemental sovereign is intense. Her existence is intrinsically bound to the primal forces she guards. She feels their pain as her own. She seemed pretty worried, Goku observed. Kaya doesn't worry easily. If she's concerned, the situation is dire indeed. Lyra's silver eyes held his golden ones. She's also one of my oldest allies and closest friends. I would consider it a personal debt if you helped protect her realm. The request surprised him. It was the first time the Empress had spoken in personal terms rather than cosmic necessity. Of course, that's what friends do. Something flickered across Lyra's expression, a moment of unexpected emotion quickly mastered. Before she could respond, the transport technicians announced readiness, and the astral conduit activated. Reality folded around them, compressing vast distances into navigable space-time. Unlike conventional teleportation, the conduit created a dimensional corridor through which they physically traveled, allowing the transport of hundreds of sentinels simultaneously. The journey lasted mere moments before reality unfolded again, depositing them within a scene of elemental chaos. The elemental nexus defied comprehension at first glance. Imagine a vast cathedral built from pure forces rather than matter, pillars of living flame supporting arches of solid lightning, floors of flowing water that somehow remained stable underfoot, ceilings of compressed air currents visible as swirling patterns. At the structure's heart stood 5 colossal fountains from which pure elemental essence flowed continuously: fire, water, earth, air, and the more mysterious FTH element that bound the others together. This magnificent natural architecture now suffered under shadow corruption. Void entities, more sophisticated than those Goku had encountered previously, OYED devices that created anti-elemental fields. Where these fields touched pure elements, corruption spread, fire turned cold and black, water became viscous and poisonous, earth crumbled into non-material shadow stuff. Elemental guardians fought desperately against the intruders, beings composed entirely of single elements, their forms magnificent in their purity. Fire elementals blazed in combat against shadow technicians. Water beings flowed around void constructs, attempting to drown them in purifying liquid. Earth guardians created defensive walls that shadow forces systematically corrupted. Directing this defense was Kaya herself, hovering above the central chamber where the 5 elemental fountains converged. In person, her elemental nature became even more apparent, her body continuo. USLY cycling through states representing different forces, sometimes stone-like and solid, other moments fluid and flowing, occasionally transparent as air or blazing like living flame. She wielded a Staff of opalescent material that focused elemental energy into devastating attacks against the shadow forces. Yet for every void entity she destroyed, more poured through dimensional breaches around the Nexus perimeter. Empress, she called out, noticing their arrival. They've penetrated the northern sanctum completely. The earth element source is 80% compromised. Lyra immediately took command, directing her celestial sentinels to strategic positions throughout the vast complex. Secure the remaining elemental sources. Priority on the fifth element. If it falls, the others cannot remain in balance. Goku absorbed the situation through both normal senses and his expanded draconic awareness. The Shadow Dominion forces operated with surgical precision. This was no mindless assault, but a carefully orchestrated operation targeting specific vulnerabilities. They're not just attacking randomly, he observed, golden eyes tracking patterns invisible to others. They're creating me kind of resonance pattern across all 5 elements. See how the corruption points align. Kaya swooped down to join them, her current form predominantly crystalline with veins of liquid fire running beneath the surface. Up close, she radiated primal power, less refined than Lyra's cosmic authority but somehow more fundamentally connected to reality itself. The dragon sees truly, she confirmed, voice harmonizing with the elements around them. They seek to invert the elemental matrix, not destroy it but corrupt it into shadow state. If they succeed, elemental forces across 17 sectors will invert as well. She fixed her kaleidoscopic eyes on Goku, openly assessing him. So you are the prophesied one, dragon essence in mortal vessel. Your presence stirs the elements, they remember their original shapers. Before Goku could respond, a massive explosion rocked the northern sanctum. Shadow forces had detonated some kind of void technology device that accelerated corruption exponentially. The earth element fountain began to invert, pure soil and stone transforming into antimatter shadow substance. We're out of time for introductions, Lyra stated sharply. Kaya, can your guardians hold the western and southern sanctums? Barely, but the eastern and northern are already compromised beyond recovery. Kaya's form shifted to predominantly fire aspect, her hair becoming living flame. We need a direct countermeasure against their corruption technology. Goku stepped forward, draconic intuition guiding him. I think I can help with that. The elements feel familiar to my new senses. Like they're responding to me. Indeed, where shadow corruption approached Goku's position, the elements seemed to resist more effectively, pure forces strengthening in his presence. The Doctor, Agon essence within him resonated with these fundamental building blocks of reality. Kaya noticed this effect immediately, her elemental eyes widening. Of course, the elements recognize draconic authority. You could potentially purify what's been corrupted. Worth trying, Goku agreed. Without further hesitation, he launched himself toward the northern sanctum where corruption had progressed furthest. Flying through the Nexus was unlike movement through normal space. Here, reality itself was nascent, forces not yet fully committed to specific forms. His draconic senses interpreted this environment instinctively, allowing him to navigate the chaotic currents of raw elemental power. Reaching the corrupted earth element fountain, Goku faced dozens of shadow technicians operating corruption devices around its base. They noticed his arrival immediately, void energy gathering around them defensively. A new player enters the game, observed one larger shadow entity, clearly a commander. The dragon essence signature is unmistakable. The Emperor will be pleased. Your Emperor should find less destructive hobbies, Goku replied, hovering above the corrupted fountain. Below him, once pure earth energy had transformed into anti-material shadow substance that devoured normal matter on contact. The Shadow Commander made a gesture that might have been amusement. The Nexus was always our primary target. Your involvement is merely an advantageous coincidence. Somehow I doubt that, Goku countered, gathering his focus. Reaching into his draconic nature, he sought the connection to elemental forces that Kaya had identified. It came easily, as though the elements themselves eagerly responded to his call. The Shadow Commander recognized his intent immediately. Stop him. Maximum corruption field. Shadow technicians redirected their devices, focusing anti-elemental energy directly at Goku. The corruption field struck him like a physical blow, attempting to invert his very essence into shadow state. For a critical moment, Goku struggled against this unexpected attack. The corruption field interacted with his dragon essence in painful ways, trying to twist his nature into its opposite. Had he still been merely Saiyan, it would have succeeded instantly. Instead, something fundamental within him rejected the inversion. His golden eyes flared with intensified light, scale patterns manifesting visibly across his skin. "That's not going to work," he stated with calm certainty. Drawing upon both his martial discipline and new cosmic awareness, Goku extended his consciousness directly into the corrupted Earth fountain. Rather than fighting the corruption, he recognized it, acknowledging its existence before gently but firmly guiding it back toward its original state. The ethic chi spread outward from his point of contact, corrupted matter remembering its true nature, shadow state dissolving as elemental purity reasserted itself. The process accelerated exponentially, purificate. Ion radiating through the entire northern sanctum. "Impossible," the Shadow Commander hissed, backing away as its corruption technology began to malfunction. "The inversion protocols are flawless." Goku didn't respond verbally. His consciousness remained merged with the elemental forces, communing with their fundamental nature. The earth element recognized him, not as master but as kin, a shaper fr. Owned the primordial era when elements first gained their properties. Throughout the northern sanctum, corruption reversed itself. Earth returned to pure state, flowing once more with creative rather than destructive potential. Shadow entities found themselves surrounded by hostile elemental forces no longer susceptible to their technology. Kaya appeared beside him, her form shifting predominantly to Earth aspect in response to the sanctum's energies. "Extraordinary," she breathed, watching purification spread through her domain. "You're not forcing the elements but reminding them of their original nature." Goku opened his eyes, returning part of his awareness to his physical form while maintaining the elemental connection. "They want to be pure. The corruption is against their natural state." "Precisely." Approval radiated from Kaya's elemental form. "Most beings try to command the elements. You understand them." The Shadow Commander interrupted this moment of connection, void energy coalescing into offensive configuration. "This battle isn't finished, Dragon. The Eastern Sanctum is already fully inverted. Your purification trick comes too late." As if to emphasize this point, a tremendous shock wave rippled through the nexus as the Eastern Sanctum, domain of air element, collapsed into shadow state. The elemental balance throughout the entire nexus destabilized, threatening cascading failure. Kaya grimaced, physical pain manifesting as her elemental aspect struggled to maintain harmony. "He speaks truth. The air element has inverted. Without all 5 elements in balance, the nexus will destabilize completely." The Shadow Commander laughed, the sound distorting reality around them. "Even a dragon cannot uninvert a fully corrupted element. The process is irreversible by design." Goku narrowed his golden eyes. "We'll see about that." Before he could act, however, another dimensional rift opened nearby, different from shadow technology or Lyra's controlled apertures. This portal sparkled with mathematical equations made visible, probability functions swirling around its circumference. Saren emerged, her quantum form unusually agitated. "Corruption coefficient at critical threshold," she announced without preamble. "Probability collapse imminent in the Eastern Sanctum." Behind her came a figure Goku hadn't encountered before, a woman whose appearance blended organic and technological elements in seamless harmony. Her skin bore circuitry-like patterns that pulsed with energy, while crystalline components seemed fused with her biological structure. She wore no conventional clothing but was covered by technological systems that continuously reconfigured themselves around her form. Most striking were her eyes, kaleidoscopic orbs that processed visible information as scrolling data. "Fascinating corruption methodology," the techno-organic woman observed, analyzing the shadow technology with obvious interest. "Quantum state inversion using elemental resonance as carrier wave. Brilliant and horrifying simultaneously." "Nemera," Kaya acknowledged, relief evident in her voice. "Your timing is impeccable." "Timing is everything," the newcomer, Nemera, replied, her attention already focused on the shadow corruption devices. "These are modified versions of my third-era resonance stabilizers. Someone has been stealing my designs." She approached the nearest Devik without apparent concern for the shadow entities still operating it. "Excuse me, I need to examine this more closely," she told the startled technician before simply disassembling the complex machinery with her bare hands. components floating around her as she analyzed them midair. Definitely my basic architecture, she concluded, but inverted to create elemental disruption rather than stabilization. The Shadow Dominion lacks innovative thinking but compensates with effective adaptation of existing technology. The Shadow Commander signaled his forces to attack this unexpected intrusion, but Nemera barely noticed. As void entities approached, her technological systems automatically deployed defensive countermeasures, microfields of repulsive force that kept attackers at comfortable distance while she continued her examination. Nemera, the Cosmic Artificer, Lyra explained, arriving with a contingent of celestial sentinels. Greatest technological mind in 17 universal sectors. And completely oblivious to danger when analyzing new technology. I am not oblivious, Nemera countered without looking up from her work. I simply calculate threat levels accurately rather than emotionally. Current shadow attack capabilities register at 37% of my defensive parameters. She finished her analysis, the disassembled components reassembling into a modified version of the original device. I can reverse the corruption process, but we'll need to establish a resonance field at the center of each affected sanctum. The dragon's purification ability provides the necessary elemental authority to reboot the system. Goku found himself fascinated by this techno-organic woman who approached cosmic disaster with the calm interest of a scientist studying natural phenomena. You Figu read all that out just by looking at their technology. Nemera's kaleidoscopic eyes focused on him properly for the first time, rapidly scanning his draconic features. Data streams reflected in her irises as she processed his existence. Celestial dragon essence successfully integrated with Saiyan physiological framework. Remarkable adaptation efficiency. You shouldn't exist, yet you do. Fascinating. I get that a lot lately. Goku replied with a hint of his old carefree smile. Less observation, more action, Kaya interrupted urgently. The Eastern Sanctum's corruption spreads toward the central chamber. If it reaches the fifth element source. Catastrophic dimensional cascade. Yes, Nemera finished, already moving toward the Eastern Sanctum with her modified device. Dragon, I require your assistance. Your essence provides the authentication key for elemental recognition. As they rushed toward the fully corrupted air sanctum, Lyra's forces engaged the shadow entities throughout the nexus, creating defensive perimeters around the remaining pure elemental sources. Kaya marshaled her elemental guardians to support these efforts, fire and water beings coordinating attacks against shadow technology. The Eastern Sanctum presented a disturbing sight. Once pure air element had inverted completely into anti-air, a vacuum that consumed normal atmosphere and replaced it with shadow state. The inverted fountain at its center spewed corruption in violent gusts that distorted space-time around them. Conventional matter cannot survive direct contact with fully inverted elements, Nemera explained. Her technological systems adapting to the hostile environment. Your draconic nature should provide sufficient protection, but maintain minimal exposure nonetheless. Goku nodded, golden eyes studying the corruption patterns. What's your plan? We establish counter-resonance at precisely calculated points around the inverted fountain, she explained, producing 4 devices from her technological systems. These modified inverters will create a stabilization field, but they require activation by elemental authority, you. The shadow forces noticed their approach immediately, void entities moving to intercept them. Unlike the chaotic battle in other sanctums, these shadows moved with precise coordination, elite forces protecting their successful inversion. They're not going to make this easy, Goku observed. Complexity is merely elaborated simplicity, Nemera replied cryptically. I'll deploy the devices. You provide the authentication and handle interfering entities. Shish. E launched into action with surprising agility for a being so focused on intellectual pursuits. Her technological systems enhanced her physical capabilities, allowing her to move through the corrupted sanctum with calculated precision. Goku found himself admiring her efficiency as he engaged the shadow entities attempting to stop them. His fighting style had evolved with his transformation, Physica. L techniques now enhanced by draconic energy that interacted directly with fundamental reality. Where once he might have relied on overwhelming force, he now fought with cosmic precision, each movement calculated to neutralize shadow entities while minimizing collateral damage to the already fragile sanctum. The martial arts mastery developed across his lifetime provided perfect foundation for wielding his new powers effectively. Nemera, meanwhile, placed her devices at specific coordinates around the inverted fountain, each one activating with a pulse of technological energy. Final inverter positioned, she called out, dodging a shadow attack with mathematical precision. Ready for authentication sequence. Goku disengaged from combat, teleporting instantly to her position. What do I need to do? Place your hand on the central control node, she instructed, indicating a crystalline structure at the device's heart. Your draconic essence will provide the elemental recognition pattern. As shadow forces converged on their position, Goku placed his palm against the crystal. Immediately, he felt the device interfacing with his draconic nature, not invasively but respectfully. Request ing permission rather than demanding access. He granted it willingly, allowing his essence to flow into the technological matrix. The effect was immediate and dramatic. All 4 devices activated simultaneously, creating a resonance pattern that encircled the corrupted fountain. Counter-inversion initiated, Nemera announced, her kaleidoscopic eyes tracking data streams only she could perceive. Phase alignment at 27% and rising. Shadow corruption resisting reconfiguration as expected. The shadow entities intensified their attacks, recognizing the threat to their successful inversion. Void energy bombarded the resonance field, attempting to disrupt the counter-inversion process. Goku maintained his connection to the central device, feeling the struggle between purification and corruption as a physical sensation. The inverted air element fought against returning to its natural state, not through inherent resistance but because the shadow technology had fundamentally altered its structure. It's fighting back, he observed, dragon essence flaring as he deepened his connection. The corruption goes deeper than just surface inversion. Nemera nodded, adjusting controls with blurring speed. The Shadow Dominion has improved their technology significantly. They've created quantum entanglement between the corrupted element and shadow state matter. Breaking these connections requires. She paused mid-explanation, kaleidoscopic eyes widening. Dragon, disengage immediately. They've weaponized the entanglement, using it as carrier for void consciousness transfer. The warning came too late. Through his connection to the device and subsequently to the corrupted element, Goku felt something ancient and malevolent reaching toward his consciousness, a shadow entity of vastly greater power than those they'd encountered thus far. Dragon essence detected, a voice whispered directly into his mind. Consciousness structure compatible, beginning assimilation protocol. Goku felt the Asian-like eyes spreading through his thoughts, a foreign consciousness attempting to overlay itself upon his own. Had he been unprepared, it might have succeeded instantly. Instead, his lifetime of mental discipline combined with draconic awareness allowed him to resist the initial assault. Something's trying to hijack my mind, he stated through gritted teeth, maintaining his position despite Nemera's warning. But if I disconnect now, the counter-inversion fails. Yes, she confirmed, her technological systems reconfiguring to address this unexpected development. Void consciousness transfer was theoretical until now. The Shadow Dominion has weaponized concept I proposed in restricted research papers. Deeply troubling ethical implications. Despite the severity of the situation, Goku almost smiled at her academic analysis of their predicament. Any suggestions for fighting off a shadow mind invasion? Nemera's expression became unusually serious. Your consciousness structure is Uni-K. Saiyan Foundation overlaid with draconic essence. The invasion targets the draconic component, assuming standard cosmic entity architecture. Your mortal aspects may provide defense mechanism they haven't accounted for. The insight resonated with Goku's intuitive understanding. While his draconic essence made him vulnerable to this specialized attack, his Saiyan core, shaped through decades of earthly experiences, relationships, and battles, created an unexpected complexity. He closed his eyes, facing the invading consciousness directly rather than fleeing from it. You picked the wrong mind to hijack, he told the shadow entity. I've been fighting impossible odds my whole life. The shadow presence recoiled slightly, surprised by direct confrontation. Resistance is mathematically futile, it replied. Your draconic essence will be assimilated. Your power will serve the Shadow Emperor. Maybe, Goku acknowledged. But first, you have to get through me. With that declaration, he stopped defending against the invasion and instead launched a counter-offensive, projecting his own consciousness toward the shadow entity. This unexpected strategy caught his attacker off guard. Instead of finding A cosmic entity attempting to protect its higher functions, the shadow consciousness encountered the disciplined but fundamentally mortal mind of a Saiyan warrior. Images from Goku's life flooded the connection: childhood adventures, martial arts training, battles against impossible foes, moments of triumph and sacrifice, faces of friends and family he'd protected across decades of fighting. These experiences carried emotional weight incomprehensible to a void entity accustomed to cosmic consciousness. The shadow presence faltered, overwhelmed by this barrage of mortal experiences. What is this chaos? This emotion? This is what you're up against, Goku replied, pushing harder into the connection. Not just dragon power, but everything that made me worthy of it. Using mental disciplines perfected across countless battles, Goku traced the connection back to its source, following the consciousness transfer pathway through the corrupted air element to its origin point. What he found stunned him. The shadow entity directing the attack wasn't physically present in the Nexus at all. It operated from a vast distance, using the corrupted element as communication medium. More shocking was its nature, not merely a void construct but something ancient and familiar. Your corrupted dragon essence, Goku realized with sudden clarity. That's why you targeted me specifically. You recognize what I am because you once were the same. The shadow consciousness recoiled from this identification. Perceptive, young dragon. Yes, I was among the first celestial dragons before the Shadow Emperor showed me true power. Soon you will join us in Shadow State. Rather than fear, Goku felt profound sadness at this revelation. A being of pure creative potential had been corrupted into its opposite, using powers meant to shape reality for destructive purposes instead. I'm sorry that happened to you, he replied with genuine compassion. But it's not happening to me. With that declaration, he severed the connection, not by retreating but by flooding the pathway with purifying draconic energy. The counterflow traveled back through the corrupted air element, momentarily connecting Goku directly to the elemental source itself. In that moment of connection, the air element recognized his draconic authority. Purification cascaded through the entire Eastern Sanctum, corruption unraveling as the element returned to its original state. Goku opened his eyes to find the inverted fountain transformed, pure air element once again flowing in its natural patterns. Namera stood beside him, kaleidoscopic eyes wide with scientific amazement. You created quantum entanglement breakdown through consciousness projection, she observed with undisguised fascination. Theoretical possibility but never practically demonstrated. Your intuitive manipulation of fundamental forces defies established paradigms. Goku withdrew his hand from the device, feeling mentally drained but satisfied. Sometimes you have to try the unexpected approach, he replied simply. Across the elemental nexus, shadow forces found themselves suddenly vulnerable as elemental corruption reversed itself. The purification of the air sanctum created a cascading effect that strengthened the remaining elements, pure forces reasserting themselves against shadow technology. Lyra and her celestial sentinels pressed this advantage, driving void entities back toward their dimensional entry points. Kaya's elemental guardians, reinvigorated by the restoration of elemental balance, surrounded remaining shadow forces with overwhelming primal power. The shadow commander who had taunted Goku earlier now found himself cornered near a destabilizing dimensional rift, his forces defeated, his technology neutralized. This isn't victory, he hissed as Goku and Namera approached, escorted by Kaya and several fire elementals. Merely data collection. The Shadow Emperor now understands your capabilities more thoroughly, Dragon. Tell your Emperor if he wants to know me better. There are less destructive ways to start a conversation, Goku replied evenly. The commander's form wavered as the dimensional rift behind him destabilized further. Was merely the preliminary assessment. The true test approaches. With those ominous words, he slipped through the rift moments before it collapsed entirely. With the immediate threat neutralized, the full extent of damage to the elemental nexus became apparent. Though the elements themselves had been restored to purity, the physical structures of the sanctums had suffered significant damage. Elemental guardians moved through affected areas, using their primal natures to accelerate repairs. Kaya approached Goku, her form now balanced between all elemental aspects, a sign of restored harmony within the nexus. You have earned the gratitude of the elemental forces, Dragon, she stated formally. Few beings could have reversed full elemental inversion once established. I had help, Goku acknowledged, gesturing toward Nemera, who was already studying the abandoned shadow technology with scientific enthusiasm. The artificer provided tools, Kaya agreed, but the elemental authority came from you alone. The elements recognized their original shaper in your essence. Lyra joined them, her regal composure maintained despite the intense battle. The Shadow Dominion will not forgive this second defeat. Their attacks will intensify. About that, Goku said, his expression serious. The entity that tried to hijack my mind, it was corrupted dragon essence. A former celestial dragon now serving the Shadow Emperor. This revelation caused visible shock in both women. Kaya's elemental form briefly destabilized before rebalancing. Lyra's silver eyes widened with genuine alarm. That confirms our worst fears, the Empress stated quietly. The disappearance of the original dragons wasn't merely ascension to higher planes of existence. Some were corrupted, Kaya continued, elemental aspects shifting nervously. Transformed into shadow state by the Emperor's power. Nemera rejoined their conversation, her technological systems still analyzing data from the battle. Dragon corruptee. On-presence existential threat beyond conventional assessment parameters. A corrupted celestial dragon could potentially invert fundamental constants across multiple universal sectors. Which is why they're so interested in me. Goku concluded. Another dragon to corrupt and add to their collection. Lyra's expression hardened with resolve. We must return to Astral Command immediately. The Cosmi Sea Council needs this information. Strategic recalibration is essential. As they prepared to depart the elemental nexus, Kaya approached Goku directly. Her elemental form stabilized into a predominantly earthen aspect, solid, dependable, powerful. I would speak with you privately before you leave, dragon. Curious, Goku followed her to a small meditation chamber adjacent to the central fountain area. Here, all 5 elements converged in perfect harmony, a place of profound natural balance. The elements have chosen to gift you with recognition, Kaya stated without preamble. Such blessing is rare beyond comprehension. She extended her hand, palm upward. Above it materialized a small crystalline object, a perfectly formed elemental matrix containing microscopic samples of all 5 primal forces in permanent harmony. This token allows you to call upon elemental assistance regardless of location, she explained. It also serves as personal connection between us. She placed the crystal in his palm, her fingers lingering against his skin momentarily. The Empress trusts you. Saren finds you probabilistically fascinating. Now the elements themselves acknowledge you. These are not coincidences, dragon. Goku studied the crystal, feeling the harmonized elements resonating with his draconic nature. Thank you. This means a lot, especially coming from their guardian. Kaya's Elementa. L features shifted to reveal unexpected warmth. I have served as elemental sovereign for 9,000 years. In that time, I have granted such tokens to exactly 3 beings. A smile touched her ever-changing features. Choose your path carefully, dragon. Many forces now converge around you, some seeking to guide, others to control, others still to corrupt. And you? He asked, meeting her kaleidoscopic gaze directly. I seek harmony, she replied simply. The elements exist in perfect balance when properly aligned. Perhaps beings should aspire to similar equilibrium. With that cryptic statement, she led him back to the others who had assembled for departure. Nemera had collected samples of shadow technology for further study, her technological systems storing these components in extra-dimensional space. Lyra conferred with her celestial sentinels, issuing commands for ongoing security of the Nexus. The astral conduit is prepared for return transit, Lyra announced as they rejoined the group. Kaya, additional sentinel forces will remain to ensure no secondary attack occurs during reconstruction. The elemental sovereign nodded gratefully. The elements remember your loyalty, Empress, as do I. Her kaleidoscopic gaze shifted briefly to Goku. And they welcome their new champion. As they prepared to depart, Nemera approached Goku with uncharacteristic hesitation. Your conic abilities interface with fundamental forces in ways my technology can only approximate, she observed. I would request permission to study these interactions more thoroughly at a convenient time. Coming from the cosmic artificer, this amounted to substantial praise. Sure, Goku agreed easily. Though I'm still figuring a lot of this out myself. Precisely what makes you such a valuable research subject, she replied. Kaleidoscopic eyes analyzing him with scientific interest. Most cosmic entities develop rigid interaction patterns over millennia. Your adaptive approach creates novel solutions conventional entities would never consider. Before Goku could respond to this assessment, the astral conduit activated, folding space-time around them for return transit to astral command. The journey back passed in moments, reality unfolding to deposit them within Lyra's central operations hub. Unlike the garden sanctuary where they'd relaxed earlier, this massive command center hummed with activity. Cosmic technicians monitoring thousands of star systems, diplomatic envoys conferring on matters of universal importance, security personnel analyzing threat assessments across multiple dimensions. I must convene an emergency session of my advisory council, Lyra stated as they arrived. Confirmed corruption of original celestial dragons represents a fundamental shift in our understanding of the Shadow Dominion's capabilities. Nemera nodded, her technological systems already interfacing with Astral Command's databases. I will analyze the captured shadow technology in my workshop. Cross-referencing with historical archives may reveal evolutionary pattern in their corruption methodology. Saren, who had returned separately through quantum pathways, materialized beside them. Probability streams show significant disruption following today's events. The cosmic algorithm recalculates fundamental outcomes at unprecedented rate. Goku absorbed these reactions, understanding that the revelation about corrupted dragons carried implications beyond his personal situation. Is there anything I can do to help? Lyra considered this question carefully before responding. Your presence at the council session would be valuable, but first, she gestured toward a nearby corridor. The pendant given to you by Elder Trazeth. Perhaps now is the time to activate it. Goku touched He scale-shaped crystal he'd carried since his transformation. You think the Dragon Oracle might have answers about the corruption? If any being in existence understands what we face, it would be the last uncorrupted elder. Lyra's silver eyes held his golden ones. The council session begins in 3 hours. That should provide sufficient time for preliminary consultation. With that practical suggestion, the group separated, each with responsibilities to address following the Nexus battle. Nemera disappeared toward her technological workshop, Saren phased into quantum observation state, and Lyra moved to prepare the council chambers. Goku found himself alone in the corridor, holding both Kaya's elemental crystal and the Elder's scale pendant. 2 gifts from beings of cosmic significance, each representing connection to forces beyond his previous understanding. He made his way to private quarters assigned to him within Astral Command, a spacious chamber designed to accommodate his conic nature with architecture that shifted subtly to match his emotional state. Here, surrounded by adaptive technology that responded to his cosmic essence, he examined the Elder's pendant more carefully. The scale-shaped crystal seemed to contain miniature galaxies within its structure, stars and nebulae suspended in perfect formation. As he focused on these cosmic patterns, he recalled the Elder's instructions. When you are ready to learn the full history of what you have become, activate it with a drop of your essence. Guess it's time to learn some dragon history, he murmured, running his thumb across the crystal's surface. Focusing his awareness inward, Goku accessed his draconic essence directly, the merged consciousness that combined Saiyan warrior with cosmic dragon. From this merged state, he drew forth a single drop of purified energy, allowing it to fall upon the crystal surface. The reaction was immediate and dramatic. The crystal absorbed the essence drop, internal galaxies accelerating their movement. Light erupted from the pendant, expanding outward to fill the entire chamber with stellar projections. Space itself seemed to bend around him as the pendant established connection across vast cosmic distances. Reality rippled, folded, and then stabilized as Elder Trazeth materialized before him, or rather, a projection of the ancient dragon that carried his full consciousness. Young dragon, the Elder greeted, his form shifting between humanoid and draconic aspects. You seek knowledge sooner than I anticipated. The pattern accelerates. Goku nodded respectfully. We discovered something you should know. The Shadow Dominion attacked the elemental nexus, and during the battle, I encountered a corrupted dragon consciousness, one of the original celestial dragons serving the Shadow Emperor. The Elder's expression darkened, his form momentarily becoming fully draconic before stabilizing. So it begins again. The cycle continues as foretold. You knew about the corruption? Goku asked, surprised by this reaction. Not new, remembered. The ancient being gestured, creating a stellar display between them. What I share now has been hidden from cosmic record for 7 billion years. The true history of the celestial dragons and their fall. The stars rearranged themselves, depicting events from the universe's earliest eras. Goku watched as draconic ties shaped reality itself, establishing fundamental forces, creating dimensional boundaries, setting cosmic constants that would govern existence. The celestial dragons were the first shapers, Elder Trazeth narrated. Born from the primordial chaos before conventional time existed. We established order from disorder, form from formlessness. The stellar display shifted, showing 12 great dragons working in harmony to create and maintain the cosmic framework. For eons, we served as guardians of creation. Neither good nor evil in conventional sense, simply maintainers of necessary balance. The elder's voice carried ancient sorrow as the display changed again. Until one among us grew dissatisfied with this role. The stars darkened, one dragon figure separating from the others. Its form gradually corrupted, scales becoming shadow substance, creative energy inverting into destructive potential. Nyxaros, greatest among us, discovered that destruction held its own power, Trazeth continued. By inverting the creative principles, he found he could absorb rather than expend cosmic energy. Corruption became his experiment, then his addiction, finally his crusade. Goku watched with growing understanding as the corrupted dragon, Nyxaros, began influencing others, spreading shadow state among the cosmic dragons. He promised power beyond our self-imposed limitations, the elder explained. Many succumbed to this temptation. The dragon schism divided creation itself. The display showed cosmic war, uncorrupted dragons fighting their shadow-transformed kin across multiple dimensions. The conflict was catastrophic, entire universal sectors collapsing as fundamental forces clashed. To prevent complete dissolution of reality, those of us who remained uncorrupted made terrible sacrifice, Trazeth said quietly. We dispersed our essence throughout the cosmos, becoming one with the creation we had shaped. Our physical forms dissolved, our consciousnesses scattered across dimensional boundaries. The stellar display showed this dissolution, dragon figures fading into the cosmic background, their power suffusing reality itself rather than remaining concentrated in individual entities. Only I remained in semi-corporeal form, tasked with preserving our knowledge until the prophesied restoration. The elder's golden eyes fixed directly on Goku. Until a warrior with pure heart would unknowingly accept draconic essence and begin the renewal. Goku absorbed this revelation with growing concern. So Nyxaros became the Shadow Emperor. And the corrupted dragons serve him. Yes and no, Trazeth replied. Nyxaros established the Shadow Dominion, but his original form and consciousness dissolved over billions of years. What remains is an entity composed of corruption itself, the antithesis of creation. Seeking to invert all existence into shadow state. And he wants to corrupt me like he did the others, Goku concluded. Your emergence threatens the shadow balance, the elder confirmed. A new celestial dragon suggests restoration of creative forces Nyxaros has worked to eliminate. More significantly, your unique nature, dragon essence merged with mortal consciousness, creates potential he cannot predict. My Saiyan nature is actually an advantage, Goku realized. It's why the shadow consciousness couldn't corrupt me during the Nexus battle. Precisely. The original dragons were purely cosmic, lacking the emotional complexity and adaptive thinking of mortal existence. Your hybrid nature creates resilience they never possessed. The elder's form stabilized into predominantly humanoid appearance. This is why you were chosen. Chosen, Goku repeated, surprised. I thought this transformation was just a desperate response to Chronos. A coincidence. Trazeth smiled enigmatically. There are no coincidences in cosmic design, young dragon. The dormant dragon essence within Earth's wish-granting construct recognized your worthiness long before crisis-forced manifestation. This revelation shifted Goku's understanding of his transformation completely. What he'd viewed as desperate reaction to immediate threat was apparently part of much larger pattern, established billions of years before his birth. So what happens now? He asked. How do I stop Nyxaros and the corrupted dragons? That path reveals itself through your choices, not my direction, the elder replied. The prophecy speaks of restoration, but does not dictate methods. He gestured again, the stellar display shifting to show cosmic connections between various entities, including Lyra, Saren, Kaya, and Nemera. The gathering of cosmic forces around you is no accident. Each represents aspect of balance required for restoration. Goku studied these connections with new understanding. The Empress, the Void Walker, the Elemental Sovereign, the Artificer, they all have roles to play. And others you have yet to encounter, Trazeth confirmed. Patterns established at creation's dawn reassert themselves. The cosmic wheel turns, returning to its starting point. The Elder's form began to fade, the connection between them weakening. Our time grows short. The pendant's power tains limited communication across dimensional boundaries. Wait, Goku called, sensing the fading connection. How do I defend against dragon corruption? If Nixaros targets me directly, trust your hybrid nature, Trazeth advised as his form continued dissolving into stellar light. What seems weakness is actually strength. The mortal heart cannot be corrupted when it remains true to itself. With those final words, the Elder's projection vanished completely, stellar patterns retracting into the pendant which returned to inert crystal state. Goku stood motionless for several moments, processing the ancient history he'd just witnessed. The knowledge that his transformation had been prophesied billions of years earlier, that some aspect of dragon essence had identified him as worthy long before crisis struck, recontextualized everything he'd experienced since merging with Shenron. Most concerning was the revelation about Nixaros and the corrupted dragons. The Shadow Emperor wasn't Meryl. Why an interdimensional conqueror but the inverted form of creation's original architect? His interest in Goku went beyond simple power acquisition. It represented existential conflict between creative and destructive principles. These weighty thoughts occupied Goku's mind as he prepared for Lyra's council session. The Empress needed to know everything he'd learned from Elder Trazeth, strategic planning. Required full understanding of what they faced. As he moved through astral command toward the council chambers, Goku's draconic senses detected subtle changes throughout the massive structure. Cosm. I see entities throughout the station reacted to his presence differently now, with greater deference, increased curiosity, or barely concealed concern. News of his performance in the elemental nexus had spread quickly through cosmic information networks. He arrived at the council chamber to find it already occupied by various cosmic dignitaries. Lyra sat at the head of a crystalline table that deconfiguration is needed to accommodate different entity types. Beside her stood Saren, her probability form unusually stable in this formal setting. Kaya had arrived via elemental transport, her form currently balanced between all 5 primal aspects. Nemera occupied a specialized technological interface chair, her systems connected directly to Astral Command's information network. Most surprising was the presence of a 5th woman Goku hadn't encountered previously. Unlike the others whose cosmic nature was immediately apparent, this newcomer appeared almost conventionally humanoid, slender, graceful with pale iridescent skin and flowing silver-white hair. Her eyes were her most striking feature, pure luminous gold, almost identical to Goku's draconic irises, but filled with gentle compassion rather than warrior intensity. She wore simple white garments that seemed to capture and amplify light, creating a subtle glow around her figure. No technological devices or cosmic artifacts adorned her person, yet she radiated a distinctive energy signature that Goku's draconic senses recognized as uniquely powerful, not in destructive capacity but in restorative potential. Lyra noticed his arrival and gestured him forward. Dragon, join us. The council session is about to begin. As Goku approached, the mysterious woman smiled with genuine warmth, the expression transforming her already beautiful features into something transcendent. So this is the newly awakened dragon, she observed, her voice carrying harmonic tones that reminded Goku of music. The cosmic algorithm grows more beautiful with each turning of the wheel. Quote, Son Goku, allow me to present Vila, the star dancer, Lyra introduced formally. Keeper of celestial harmonies and guardian of conscious light. An honor to meet you, dragon, Vila said, inclining her head respectfully. Your emergence brings hope to realms that had forgotten its meaning. Before Goku could respond to this unexpected greeting, Lyra called the council to order. We face unprecedented developments requiring immediate strategic response, she began, her imperial authority filling the chamber. The Shadow Dominion has revealed capabilities beyond previous assessment parameters, including confirmed corruption of original celestial dragons. This announcement created immediate reaction among council members not already aware of the discovery. Concerned murmurs filled the chamber as cosmic entities processed the implications. Furthermore, Lyra continued, their attack on the elemental nexus suggests willingness to risk fundamental cosmic stability in pursuit of their objectives. Previous restraint protocols appear abandoned. She gestured to Goku. The dragon has consulted with Elder Trazeth regarding these developments. His report takes priority. All eyes turn to Goku, the newest cosmic entity among them suddenly central to their deliberations. In this moment, he felt the weight of his transformation most acutely. No longer merely a Saiyan warrior defending his home planet, he now participated in Cosmic Council determining the fate of countless civilizations. Taking a deep breath, he shared everything he'd learned Fr. The Dragon Oracle, the true history of the celestial dragons, the corruption of Nixaros, the ancient conflict that had nearly destroyed reality itself, and the prophecy that had apparently guided his transformation. As he spoke, he watched the reactions of those gathered around the council table. Lyra's regal features remained composed, though her silver eyes revealed deep concern. Saren's probability form fluctuated with each new piece of information, recalculating cosmic algorithms in real time. Kaya's elemental aspects shifted nervously, particularly when he mentioned the dragon's role in establishing elemental forces. Namera's technological systems processed the historical data with analytical precision, seeking patterns and strategic implications. Most interesting was Vela's response. The Star Dancer listened with complete serenity, as though hearing confirmation of knowledge already possessed rather than shocking revelation. Occasionally she nodded slightly, golden eyes reflecting ancient understanding. When Goku finished his report, silence filled the council chamber as cosmic entities processed its implications. The Dragon Schism was not included in any historical archive accessible to the Cosmic Council. Lyra finally stated, even the oldest records mention celestial dragons only as mythological shapers, not as actual entities with continuing influence. Historical redaction was deliberate, Vela said softly, speaking for the first time since the session began. Knowledge of corruption's true nature would have invited further experimentation. Some secrets must remain hidden until proper time arrives. All eyes turned to the Star Dancer, surprise evident among council members. You knew of this history? Lyra asked directly. Vela's expression remained serene. Not new, remembered, just as Elder Trazeth remembers. Though my perspective comes through different channel. Explain, Lyra requested, silver eyes intent upon the Star Dancer. I was mortal once, Vela replied simply. A healer from world long since returned to stellar dust. During the aftermath of Dragon Schism, when reality itself threatened to unravel, I offered myself as vessel for Fragum. Ending light consciousness, the creative principle that opposed shadow corruption. She turned her golden eyes to Goku. Just as you now serve as vessel for Dragon Essence, I have carried light essence since universe's darkest hour. Different aspects of same restoration pattern. This revelation transformed the council's understanding completely. Vela had always been respected for her healing abilities and compassionate wisdom. But few had suspected her origins connected directly to the universe's primordial conflict. The pattern becomes clearer, Saren observed, her probability form stabilizing into unusual coherence. Dragon awakens, Empress guides, Walker navigates, Sovereign harmonizes, Artificer builds, Dancer heals. Six-fold restoration pattern precisely matches creation hexagram in original cosmic architecture. This cannot be coincidence, Kaya agreed, her elemental form shifting predominantly to fifth element aspect, the mysterious force that bound all others together. Coincidence is merely unrecognized pattern, Namera stated, her technological systems completing complex calculations. Statistical probability of random alignment for 6 cosmic entities with complementary functions, effectively 0. We are experiencing orchestrated cosmic algorithm. Lyra rose from her seat, imperial authority radiating from her posture. If this assessment is accurate, the Shadow Dominion's recent aggression represents counter-response to restoration pattern. They sense the threat to corruption's dominance. Which means their next move will be direct rather than exploratory, Goku concluded. His warrior instincts interpreting strategic implications. They've tested my capabilities twice now. The third attack will target me specifically. Vila nodded solemnly. The shadow fears light most when it begins to spread. Nixaros will not risk further draconic awakening. Then we prepare accordingly, Lyra declared. Astral Command moves to highest security protocol. The Dragon receives complete access to restricted knowledge archives. Training facilities reconfigured for draconic power calibration. She addressed each council member individually, assigning specific responsibilities. Saren, establish probability monitoring throughout shadow approach vectors. Kaya, reinforce elemental barriers around key cosmic nexus points. Nemera, develop countermeasures against Kuru. PTION technology based on nexus attack analysis. Vila, she paused, meeting the Star Dancer's golden eyes directly. You've hidden your true nature and knowledge for millennia. No more secrets. Share everything you remember about the Dragon Schism and corruption methodologies. Vila inclined her head in graceful acquiescence. As you command, Empress. The time for concealment has passed. The wheel turns toward revelation. With strategic directions established, the council session concluded. Cosmic entities departed with newfound purpose, the revelation of ancient conflict and prophesied resto. Ration providing context for recent events. Goku remained behind as others left, processing the implications of all he'd learned. Lyra approached him, Imperial mask momentarily lowered to reveal genuine concern. You've been thrust into cosmic war billions of years in making, she observed. Without preparation or choice. For that, I offer rare apology. Goku smiled slightly, dragon gold eyes meeting her silver ones. Actually, fighting to protect people is pretty familiar territory for me. Just on bigger scale now. Your adaptation remains remarkable, she noted, studying him with unreadable expression. Most beings would be overwhelmed by revelations of cosmic destiny. I've learned not to worry too much about destiny, he replied honestly. Better to focus on what's right in front of you. Right now, that's figuring out how to stop Nixaros from corrupting more worlds. Something flickered in Lyra's silver eyes, appreciation for his straightforward perspective amid cosmic complexity. Elder Trazeth spoke of cosmic pacts between dragons and star sovereigns, she said, her voice taking on unusual hesitancy. Those connections were more than mere alliance. Before she could elaborate, Vila approached them, her presence bringing subtle sense of harmony to the conversation. Dragon, if I may request your presence in my sanctuary. There are aspects of draconic essence that benefit from light resonance calibration. Lyra stepped back, imperial composure instantly restored. Of course, strategic preparations take priority. We will continue our discussion at more appropriate time. With formal nod to both of them, the Empress departed, leaving Goku with the enigmatic Star Dancer and growing awareness that his cosmic transformation had implications beyond power and prophecy. The connections forming between him and these cosmic women carried significance he was only beginning to comprehend. She fears attachment, Vila observed once Lyra had departed, her golden eyes reflecting compassionate understanding. The Empress has maintained emotional distance for millennia, cosmic responsibility superseding personal connection. Goku turned to the Star Dancer, surprised by her directness. You seem to understand everyone pretty well. Light essence perceives emotional truth just as dragon essence perceives fundamental forces, she explained with gentle smile. We are complementary aspects of creation's original design. She gestured toward a dimensional doorway materializing nearby. Come. My sanctuary offers safe space for exploring connections between your draconic nature and cosmic balance. Some questions find answers only in harmonic resonance. As Goku followed her through this dimensional threshold, he sensed they approached another crucial piece in the complex cosmic puzzle surrounding his transformation. Each encounter, each revelation, brought him closer to understanding what it truly meant to be Celestial Dragon in Age of Shadow. The sanctuary awaited, and with it, new insights into the destiny he hadn't chosen but was determined to fulfill. Chapter 3. Convergence. Shadow never falls silently on a realm of stars. The attack began with reality fracture. Thousands appearing simultaneously throughout Astral Command. Unlike conventional breaches that tore through dimensional boundaries, these fractures emerged from within, as though space itself had been corrupted at the quantum level. Through each opening poured shadow entities of unprecedented sophistication, their void forms augmented with corruption technology that allowed them to exist stably in normal space. Goku stood at the center of Lyra's command nexus, monitoring the invasion through holographic displays that showed widespread devastation throughout the massive station. The Shadow Dominion had bypassed conventional defenses completely, embedding corruption seeds weeks earlier that now activated in perfect synchronization. "They've been planning this since the elemental nexus battle," he observed grimly. "Those attacks were distractions while they infiltrated here." Lyra materialized beside him, her Imperial armor fully deployed for combat. Corruption signatures in central database systems. Life support architecture, dimensional stabilizers. This isn't merely an attack, it's an attempted total conversion of astral command into shadow state. Around them, chaos erupted as celestial sentinels engaged shadow forces throughout the station. Emergency protocols activated, compartmentalizing sections to prevent corruption spread. The sounds of battle echoed from adjacent chambers, energy discharges, reality distortions, the distinctive hiss of void technology deploying. Empress. A communication portal opened, revealing Kaya's elemental form Invisible Distress. The elemental nexus is under simultaneous assault, shadow forces targeting all 5 sanctums concurrently. Before Lyra could respond, additional portals materialized. Nemera appeared first, her Technologica systems actively repelling corruption algorithms. Artificers Forge breached through quantum backdoor protocols. Shadow technicians attempting to access prototype repositories. Saren's portal show, her quantum form fighting probability distortions. The harmonic spheres destabilizing, shadow corruption altering fundamental constants. Reality coherence failing across 17 dimensions. Last came Vila, her normally serene features tense with concentration as she maintained light barriers around civilians. Star Sanctuary infiltrated, healing matrices corrupted, requesting immediate evacuation support for displaced populations. Quote, Lyra absorbed these reports with the composure of a leader accustomed to crisis, though her silver eyes betrayed deep concern. Coordinated attacks across all cosmic nexus points. The Shadow Emperor commits his forces to total offensive. Goku's draconic senses extended beyond conventional perception, feeling the pattern beneath the chaos. This isn't random destruction, he realized. They're creating a specific resonance formation across multiple dimensions. His expanded awareness traced the connection between simultaneous attacks, recognizing a geometric pattern of cosmic significance. The Shadow Dominion wasn't simply destroying, they were reshaping reality itself into configuration that would facilitate something much worse. They're creating a summoning framework, he stated with sudden clarity, using the corrupted sites as anchor points for something big to cross dimensional boundaries. Lyra's eyes widened with understanding. Nixaros himself, the Shadow Emperor, prepares to manifest directly. The realization transformed their strategic assessment entirely. What had appeared as conventional invasion, albeit on cosmic scale, was actually preliminary stage for the arrival of creation's most ancient adversary. We need to evacuate the station, Goku decided immediately. Get everyone to safety before. His words halted as reality shish uttered around them, a tremor in the fundamental fabric of existence itself. The command nexus distorted momentarily as something incomprehensibly vast pressed against dimensional boundaries. Through the holographic displays, they witnessed shadow forces throughout astral command suddenly pause in their assault. The void entities turned as one toward empty space at the station's center, their movements becoming ritualistic rather than combative. Corruption technology throughout the station reconfigured into geometric patterns that amplified the dimensional distortion. They're not here to destroy the station, Lyra whispered, comprehension dawning in her silver eyes. They're converting it into arrival point. My own command center. Because it sits at convergence point of your stellar ley lines, Goku finished. The perfect location to pierce dimensional barriers. The space station's central void, an architectural feature designed to house diplomatic gatherings, began to darken. Not merely absence of light, but presence of anti-light that consumed illumination. The darkness coalesced into swirling vortex that bent conventional physics around its edges. Goku felt ancient draconic instincts responding to this manifestation, recognition of primal adversary embedded in his transformed essence. We can't let him fully materialize. Once he crosses over completely, we won't have enough power to send him back. Lyra nodded grimly, activating emergency protocols through her neural interface with station systems. All personnel to evacuation points. Priority Omega. This is not a drill. She turned to the communication portals where the other cosmic women awaited direction. The Shadow Emperor attempts direct manifestation through astral command. Our separate battles were tactical diversion. The probability matrix reconfigures around singular focal point, Saren confirmed, her quantum form analyzing dimensional stresses. Shadow convergence achieves 87% materialization potent. Teal through your station's cosmic positioning. We must converge as well, Vila stated, golden eyes reflecting ancient understanding. The six-fold harmony represents only viable counterforce against primal corruption. Kaya's elemental form stabilized into its most coherent state. I can maintain nexus integrity remotely if necessary. The elements respond to critical priority. My Technologica. L systems have isolated corruption algorithms, Nemera added. Temporary firewall established. Estimated duration. 17 minutes before complete override. Lyra's decision came with imperial certainty. Converge on astral command. Central diplomatic void. Maximum transit priority. The communication portals closed as each cosmic entity prepared for dimensional transit to the threatened station. Meanwhile, the shadow vortex continued expanding, reality fracturing around its edges as something pushed through from beyond conventional dimensions. The evacuation will take time we don't have, Goku observed. Draconic senses tracking the approaching entity's progress. We need to slow the manifestation. Without waiting for response, he launched himself directly toward the corrupted central void. His transformed body moved not merely through physical space but across dimensional boundaries, allowing him to approach the manifestation point directly. At the vortex edge, reality itself beckoned. Me malleable, conventional physics surrendering to more primal forces. Shadow entities guarded this threshold, their forms more substantial than any Goku had previously encountered. These weren't mere constructs but converted beings, former cosmic entities whose essence had been corrupted into shadow state. They registered his approach immediately, void energies coalescing into offensive configurations. The dragon arrives as calculated, announced their leader, a twisted humanoid figure whose shadow substance contained faint echoes of star patterns. Precisely as the Emperor predicted. Goku asked his opponents with both warrior instinct and draconic awareness. I'm giving you one chance to retreat. Leave this station and return to shadow space. The leader made a sound like dark amusement. Your confrontational approach remains consistent across probability simulations, Dragon. So predictably heroic. With that observation, the shadow entities attacked, not with conventional energy but corruption vectors targeting Goku's draconic essence directly. They sought to initiate conversion process, turning his creative potential into its destructive mirror. Goku had anticipated this strat, e.g. since learning of the corrupted dragons. Rather than defending conventionally, he implemented counter-technique developed through training with Vila, surrounding his dragon essence with shell of skyous light that corruption couldn't directly touch. The shadow entities recoiled in surprise as their conversion vectors dissipated harmlessly against this protection. Light essence integration, the leader hissed. The star dancer's influence, adaptation noted. Pressing his advantage, Goku launched into offensive sequence that combined physical combat with reality manipulation. His fighting style had evolved dramatically since transformation, incorporating draconic abilities into martial arts foundation developed across lifetime of battle. Where once he might have relied on overwhelming energy projection, he now fought with precise reality adjustments, locally altering dimensional constants to neutralize shadow advantages while enhancing his own capabilities. Physical strikes carried conceptual weight beyond mere force transfer. The shadow entities responded with increasingly desperate measures, sacrificing themselves to create corruption barriers that slowed his advance. Their Goal wasn't victory but delay, giving their Emperor sufficient time to complete manifestation. As Goku dispatched the final guardian, he reached the vortex edge itself, a boundary not merely between spaces, but between fundamental states of existence. Beyond this threshold, he sensed something ancient and vast approaching, a consciousness so alien yet paradoxically familiar that his draconic essence trembled in recognition. Without further hesitation, he extended his awareness into the vortex itself, not physically entering but projecting his consciousness across the dimensional barrier. What he Enku, Ntered defied conventional understanding. The approaching entity existed as absence rather than presence, anti-creation given purpose and direction. Where reality normally consisted of positive manifestation, this being embodied categorical negation of existence itself. Yet within this overwhelming void, Goku perceived familiar pattern, the inverted echo of draconic essence. Celestial Dragon, Evoic, resonated directly into his consciousness. The last ember of creation's original fire. The communication carried no conventional sound but transmitted through fundamental reality itself. Goku maintained his conscious projection while keeping physical distance from the dimensional threshold. Nixaros, he responded, recognizing the entity through draconic memory. Or what remains of him. Something like amusement rippled through the void consciousness. Names are constructs of limited perception. I have evolved beyond such constraints. The being you call Nixaros was merely preliminary configuration of greater understanding. Understanding of what? Goku challenged, maintaining his position against the pressure of the ancient entity's approach. The fundamental error of creation itself. The flawed premise upon which existence was constructed. The void consciousness expanded, pressing harder against dimensional boundaries. Creation inherently tends toward entropy. I merely accelerate inevitable conclusion. Goku felt the corrupted dragon's essence attempting to establish resonance with his own, seeking compatibility that would facilitate conversion. He reinforced his light essence protection, keeping the connection purely communicative rather than transformative. If you believed that, you wouldn't fight so hard to control everything, Goku countered. You'd just let entropy happen naturally. Again came that sensation of dark amusement. Perceptive, young dragon. Indeed, uncatalyzed entropy lacks appreciation of its own beauty. Conscious dissolution provides aesthetic satisfaction beyond mere thermodynamic inevitability. The shadow vortex expanded further, reality fracturing more severely around its edges. Behind him, Goku sensed the station's evacuation proceeding, thousands of NGS fleeing through emergency transport systems as corruption spread throughout Astral Command's infrastructure. He needed to buy more time. You were once like me, Goku pressed, keeping the void consciousness engaged in communication. A celestial dragon creating rather than destroying. A limited perspective I transcended, came the immediate response. Creation establishes boundaries. Destruction removes limitations, which represents greater freedom. Freedom without purpose is just chaos, Goku replied, drawing upon both Saiyan wisdom and draconic understanding. The void consciousness paused momentarily, the philosophical challenge requiring actual consideration rather than dismissal. Interesting perspective from hybrid entity. Your mortal component introduces unpredictable variables to draconic framework. This conversational opening gave Goku crucial insight. The Shadow Emperor hadn't fully anticipated the unique nature of his transformation, the merging of mortal consciousness with cosmic power created combination outside conventional parameters. Before he could leverage this advantage, reality shifted dramatically as four-dimensional apertures opened simultaneously around the shadow vortex. Through these precisely calibrated portals arrived Lyra's cosmic allies, each manifesting with maximum power deployment. Kaya emerged first, her elemental form fully realized in five-fold harmony. The primal forces responded to her direction, creating elemental barrier around the vortex that temporarily stabilized fracturing reality. Nemera arrived with her technological systems fully activated, quantum computers calculating corruption algorithms and deploying counter sequences that disrupted the shadow manifestation matrix. Saren's quantum form materialized in multiple probability states simultaneously, her consciousness extending across dimensional boundaries to analyze the approaching entity's pattern. Vila completed the convergence, her light essence radiating at maximum intensity, creating healing matrix that repaired reality fractures while strengthening dimensional boundaries. Lyra herself approached from Command Nexus, her cosmic authority fully expressed through Imperia. Regalia that connected her directly to the stellar forces under her governance. Your confederation arrives, the void consciousness observed with something approaching satisfaction. The restoration hexagram aligns precisely as prophesied. How convenient. The Shadow Emperor's continued manifestation accelerated suddenly, corruption energy surging through the vortex with renewed intensity. The core, donated defense established by the 5 cosmic women buckled under this assault. Elemental barriers distorting, technological systems overloading, probability fields fluctuating, light matrices dimming. He's using our convergence to strengthen his manifestation, Goku realized, withdrawing his consciousness from direct communication. The restoration pattern creates resonance point he's exploiting. Lyra reached him first, silver eyes reflecting urgent understanding. The prophecy itself was corrupted. What we believed would prevent his arrival actually facilitates it. We've been played, Kaya growled, her elemental form struggling to maintain stability as corruption spread through her carefully constructed barriers. Namera's technological analysis confirmed this assessment. Shadow Algo. Rhythm inserts recursive loop in restoration pattern. Our combined energies create harmonic resonance that amplifies manifestation potential rather than diminishing it. The probability matrix inverts, Saren added, her quantum form fluctuating between states of increasing uncertainty. Cosmic constants destabilize in cascading failure pattern. Only Vila remained seemingly unsurprised by this development. Light perceives what shadow conceals, she stated calmly despite the chaos surrounding them. The true pattern requires not convergence but transformation. Before anyone could question this cryptic statement, the shadow vortex expanded dramatically, reality tearing around its boundaries as the Shadow Emperor's manifestation approached completion. Throughout Astral Command, corruption accelerated exponentially. Station systems failing as they converted to shadow state. Evacuation is 87% complete, Lyra reported, maintaining imperial composure despite their deteriorating situation. Quote, but we cannot allow Nixaros to fully materialize within this dimensional plane. The consequences would extend beyond calculation. Goku processed their dire circumstances through both warrior instinct and draconic awareness. The Shadow Emperor had manipulated prophecy itself, turning their defensive gathering into catalyst for his arrival. Conventional opposition would fail against such ancient adversary. Unconventional approach was required. I need to enter the vortex, he stated with sudden clarity. 5 pairs of eyes turned toward him with expressions ranging from shock to horror. Absolutely not, Lyra responded immediately. Imperial authority filling her voice. Direct exposure to void consciousness in pre-manifestation state would overwhelm even draconic resistance. Corruption would be instantaneous. Probability of successful resistance. 0.0027%, Saren calculated, her quantum form temporarily stabilizing in rare certainty. Nearly statistical impossibility. The elements would lose their champion, Kaya added. Genuine concern visible through her shifting features. Your essence would be inverted beyond recovery. Namera's technological assessment was equally pessimistic. Corruption algorithms specifically calibrated for draconic conversion. Shadow Emperor's primary objective remains your assimilation. Only Vila remained silent, her golden eyes studying Goku with expression that suggested deeper understanding of his intention. I'm not planning to fight him conventionally, Goku explained, dragon gold eyes reflecting determination born from lifetime of impossible battles. I'm going to offer him what he really wants. Understanding dawned in Vela's expression first. The willing surrender of dragon essence. What? Kaya's elemental form destabilized momentarily in shock. Catastrophic miscalculation, Namera objected immediately. Voluntary surrender provides optimal conversion conditions. Saren's probability form fragmented into dozens of potential outcomes. Calculation matrix insufficient to predict consequences of voluntary dragon essence surrender. Lyra alone remained silent, her silver eyes holding Goku's golden ones with intensity that transcended imperial authority. You believe your surrender is strategically sound. Not surrender, Goku corrected. Trojan horse, the martial arts discipline that had defined his existence before TRAN's formation now merged with draconic strategy, creating approach uniquely his own. Nixaros wants my essence because it represents pure creative potential, uncorrupted dragon power he can convert to shadow state. But your essence isn't purely draconic, Vila realized, golden eyes widening. Your mortal consciousness creates variable he cannot anticipate. Exactly. Goku nodded, Plan crystallizing. He'll focus on corrupting the dragon part, ignoring the Saiyan consciousness that comes with it. And while he attempts conversion, Lyra began, strategic understanding dawning. I'll have access to his core consciousness. Goku finished. Direct connection to the original corruption source. The shadow vortex pulsed violently, reality fractures spreading throughout the station as the Shadow Emperor's manifestation progressed. Time for discussion had ended. The structural integrity of Astral Command is compromised beyond recovery, Lyra acknowledged, making the difficult decision of a leader facing inevitable loss. Evacuation is now priority. We relocate to secondary command post and regroup. While I deal with Nixaros, Goku added firmly. The 5 cosmic women exchanged glances, and communication passing between entities who had existed for millennia before Goku's transformation. Some unspoken agreement passed between them before they turned back to him. If you attempt this, you must carry our essence as well. Vila stated, golden eyes reflecting ancient wisdom. The light that balances shadow. My elemental authority, Kaya offered, her form shifting to predominantly IFTH element aspect, the binding force that connected all others. The harmony that structures chaos. My probability manipulation, Saren added, her quantum form stabilizing into unusual coherence. Quote, the uncertainty that limits absolute outcomes. My technological protection algorithms, Namera contributed, her systems generating complex data sequence. The pattern that resists corruption. Lyra stepped forward last, Imperial reserve giving way to genuine emotion. And my stellar governance, she said softly. The order that prevents entropy. Goku understood what they offered, not merely power but aspects of themselves. Their fundamental cosmic natures to strengthen his resistance against corruption. Such sharing of essence had implications beyond strategic advantage, representing bond of profound significance. I accept, he stated simply, humbled by their trust. Each woman approached him in turn, establishing connection that transcended physical interaction. Kaya pressed her elemental crystal against his chest, primal forces flowing into his draconic essence like tributaries joining greater river. Saren's quantum form partially merged with his probability field, creating adaptive uncertainty shield around his consciousness. Namera's technological systems interfaced directly with his energy pattern, implementing protection algorithms at fundamental level. Vila placed her palms against his face. Golden eyes meeting his as light essence flowed between them, not merely power transfer but genuine healing that strengthened his core identity against corruption's touch. Lyra came last, her silver eyes holding complexity beyond words. The cosmic pacts between dragons and star sovereigns were never merely political, she said softly. They were bonds of complementary essence, creation and governance in perfect balance. She removed her imperial crown, the crystalline circlet that connected her directly to stellar forces under her authority. Without hesitation, she placed it upon Goku's brow, establishing connection far more intimate than physical contact. Through this link, he briefly experienced existence as she did, perceiving thousands of star systems simultaneously, feeling the birth and death of suns. Understanding the delicate equilibrium that maintained cosmic order. Her consciousness touched his with emotions carefully contained for millennia, responsibility, loneliness, duty. And something warmer she had denied herself through countless centuries of solitary rule. Return to us, dragon, she whispered, the formal title carrying personal meaning beyond imperial protocol. Enhanced by these 5 distinct cosmic essences, Goku turned toward the shadow vortex. His transformed appearance now incorporated elements from each, elemental patterns flowing beneath his skin. Probability fluctuations shimmering around his outline, technological interfaces manifesting briefly before receding, light essence illuminating his dragon gold eyes, and Lyra's crown establishing his connection to stellar order. Get everyone to safety, he instructed, voice carrying harmonic depths beyond his usual tones. I'll find you when this is finished. Without further hesitation, he stepped directly into the shadow vortex, willingly entering the manifestation field of creation's most ancient adversary. Crossing the dimensional threshold felt like simultaneous expansion and compression, his consciousness extending infinitely while his physical form condensed to quantum point. Conventional reality gave way to something older and more primal, the space between spaces where Armation and dissolution remained equally possible outcomes. Within this void between existences, Goku encountered the true form of Nyxaros, no longer the corrupted dragon of cosmic history but something far more fundamental. The Shadow Emperor existed as conceptual inversion of creation itself, anti-pattern that consumed and redirected all positive manifestation. You come willingly, the void Concio. USNESS observed with something approaching satisfaction. Evolution beyond expectation. Perhaps draconic essence retains adaptability despite eons of stagnation, maintaining the complex protection matrix provided by his 5 allies. Goku allowed his draconic essence to become apparent while concealing his true strategy. I've seen enough to recognize superior force. My resistance only endangers others. Skepticism rippled through the void consciousness. Voluntary surrender contradicts established behavioral parameters. Deception probability. Significant. Not deception. Evolution. Goku countered, drawing upon Saren's probability manipulation to make this claim register as truth. You said yourself that creation inherently tends toward entropy. I've recognized the inevitable. The void consciousness analyzed him thoroughly. Ancient intellect seeking inconsistencies that would reveal deception. Goku maintained perfect balance between apparent surrender and hidden resistance, a martial arts concept applied to cosmic confrontation. Your essence contains unexpected components, Nyxaros observed. Stellar governance, elemental authority, quantum manipulation, technological pattern, light resonance, the restoration hexagram integrated within single vessel. They contributed their power before I departed, Goku acknowledged, presenting this truth in a way that suggested desperate last stand rather than coordinated strategy. The void consciousness expanded around him, beginning preliminary conversion assessment. Their essences will convert alongside your own. Efficiency increases exponentially through simultaneous processing. As anticipated, the Shadow Emperor initiated corruption process, targeting his draconic essence directly while regarding the mortal consciousness as incidental companion rather than primary threat. Goku felt the conversion begin as anti-creation principles attempted to invert his fundamental nature. The pain transcended physical understanding, conceptual inversion attacking the very foundation of his being. Only the combined protection of his allies prevented immediate corruption. Even so, he felt aspects of his draconic essence beginning to transform, creative pot. Enchel twisting toward destructive mirror. Rather than resisting this conversion directly, Goku implemented the core of his strategy, allowing partial corruption while maintaining his Saiyan consciousness intact. This created the impression of successful conversion while preserving his essential self. Yes, the void consciousness encouraged, perceiving apparent success. Embrace inversion. Recognize liberation through destruction's potential. As corruption progressed, connection between them deepened. Nyxaros, focused on draconic conversion, failed to recognize the danger of this increasing intimacy. With each moment, Goku gained greater access to the Shadow Emperor's foundational patterns, the original corruption that had transformed Creator into Destroyer. Show me, Goku requested, feigning eagerness for conversion while secretly tracking backward through corruption pathways. Show me how you transcended creation's limitations. The ancient entity responded with surprising eagerness, IUM of isolation creating desire for comprehension even from soon-to-be corrupted dragon. Witness the moment of transcendence. Through their deepening connection, Nyxaros shared memory older than conventional time, the original corruption that had transformed Celestial Dragon into Shadow Emperor. Goku experienced this pivotal moment as though living it directly. The young universe, still malleable and undefined. 12 celestial dragons working in harmony to establish fundamental constants. Nyxaros, greatest among them, discovering that destruction contained its own form of power, energy released rather than expended. The first tentative experiment with entropy acceleration. The addictive rush of power it provided. The gradual justification of destruction as necessary complement to creation. The slow corruption of once pure essence as shadow concepts replaced creative principles. Most significantly, Goku witnessed the crucial moment of choice, the decision point where corruption became irreversible. Not through overwhelming force or external influence, but through deliberate embrace of destruction's simplicity over creation's complexity. There, Goku identified, focusing on this pivotal moment while corruption continued spreading through his draconic essence. The original inversion point. Yes, the void consciousness confirmed, misinterpreting his interest as conversion progress. Liberation moment when limitation gave way to boundless potential. With the original corruption pattern identified, Goku implemented the final phase of his strategy. Drawing upon the combined cosmic essences of his 5 allies, he established direct connection to the fundamental choice point in Nyxeros's history, the quantum moment where creation gave way to destruction. What are you attempting? The void consciousness demanded, suddenly aware that conversion wasn't proceeding as expected. Restoration, Goku answered simply. Before Nyxeros could react, Goku activated the full restoration hexagon. The combined cosmic principles his allies had entrusted to him. Kaya's elemental harmony provided structural foundation. Saren's quantum manipulation created probability pathway to alternative outcome. Namera's technological algorithms established pattern recognition and correction. Vela's light essence illuminated the original uncorrupted state. Lyra's stellar governance maintained ordered transition between states. At the center of this cosmic matrix, Goku contributed what only he could provide, the unconditional compassion that had defined his existence even before draconic transformation. I forgive you, he told the ancient corrupted dragon, for everything you've done and everything you've become. And I'm giving you chance to choose again. The effect was instantaneous and catastrophic. The conceptual foundation of Shadow Dominion, built upon Nyxeros's original corruption, shuddered under this unexpected assault. Not attack through conventional force but fundamental recontextualization of the original choice point. What have you done? The void consciousness roared, its carefully constructed identity threatening to unravel. Reminded you of who you were before corruption, Goku answered. Maintaining the restoration matrix despite increasing resistance. The choice that defined everything afterward. The space between existences trembled as two opposed cosmic principles fought for dominance. Not good versus evil in conventional sense, but creation versus destruction at fundamental level. The Shadow Emperor's corrupted essence battled against restoration possibility, ancient patterns refusing reconfiguration. Too late, Nyxeros insisted, void consciousness contracting defensively. Billions of years of corruption cannot be undone through conceptual reframing. I'm not trying to undo anything, Goku clarified. Understanding flowing through both draconic wisdom and Saiyan compassion. Just offering new choice in present moment. The restoration matrix expanded further, Illuminati. Ing not merely the original corruption point but every choice that followed. The slow accumulation of shadow dominance, the corruption of other dragons, the establishment of anti-creation empire spanning multiple dimensions. Within this comprehensive revelation, Goku identified the critical insight. Nyxeros hadn't become Shadow Emperor through single catastrophic fall but through countless small renders to destructive simplicity over creative complexity. Restoration would require similar process in reverse, not instantaneous redemption but gradual reintroduction of creative potential alongside destructive capability. The integration of complementary opposites rather than replacement of one by other. Balance, Goku offered, drawing upon his martial arts foundation where opposing forces created harmony rather than contradiction. Not creation without destruction or destruction without creation. Both in proper proportion. For the first time in cosmic history, the Shadow Emperor hesitated, and seeing certainty wavering before this unexpected alternative. The void consciousness expanded and contracted in conflicted response, corruption patterns temporarily disrupted by restoration possibility. In this crucial moment of uncertainty, Goku implemented the final component of his strategy, not conquest but sacrifice. I offer my uncorrupted dragon essence, he proposed, not for conversion but for integration. Creative potential to complement your destructive mastery. Deception, the void consciousness accused, though with diminishing conviction. Strategic ploy to facilitate my destruction. Not destruction, transformation. Goku corrected. The same choice you offered others for billions of years. Just in opposite direction. To demonstrate his sincerity, he deliberately lowered the protective barriers established by his allies, making portion of his draconic essence genuinely vulnerable to either corruption or integration. This calculated risk represented trust that even being as ancient and corrupted as Nyxeros retained capacity for evolution beyond established patterns. The void consciousness responded with conflicted assessment, part eager for uncorrupted dragon essence regardless of terms, part suspicious of apparent sacrifice, heart genuinely intrigued by novel proposition after eons of unchanging empire. Partial integration acceptable, Nyxaros finally decided. Limited experiment without commitment to restructuring. Fair enough, Goku agreed, maintaining careful balance between genuine offering and strategic position. The connection between them deepened beyond corruption at Empress Restoration Matrix, becoming genuine exchange of fundamental essence. Goku experienced shadow state consciousness directly, comprehending destruction's elegance from insider perspective. Simultaneously, Nyxaros encountered uncorrupted draconic creativity after billions of years of shadow existence. This consciousness exchange created unexpected catalyst, the restoration matrix established by Goku's allies interacted with Nyxaros's corruption patterns, producing hybrid structure that incorporated elements of both. Neither pure creation nor complete destruction but dynamic synthesis that transcended original opposition. Interesting, the void consciousness acknowledged, ancient intelligence genuinely engaged for first time in cosmic epics. Destruction without purpose becomes meaningless entropy. Creation without limitation becomes chaotic excess. Integration suggests optimized efficiency. Goku recognized crucial opening in this philosophical shift. That's why dragons and star sover Ains established cosmic pacts originally. Creative potential balanced by governing structure. The mention of original cosmic order triggered cascade of ancient memories within Nyxaros's consciousness. Recollections of creation's early harmony before corruption introduced fundamental imbalance. For a brief moment, shadow patterns receded enough for original draconic essence to surface. I remember, the ancient entity admitted. Void consciousness temporarily illuminated from within. Before shadow, before corruption, the joy of shaping rather than unmaking. This momentary connection to original Nadu recreated opportunity Goku had anticipated throughout their exchange. Drawing upon combined cosmic essences entrusted by his allies, he established restoration pathway that didn't require destruction of Shadow Emperor's evolved identity, instead offering integration of opposed principles into more comprehensive whole. Shadow and light, destruction and creation, both necessary for complete existence, Goku proposed. Presenting cosmic balance as evolution beyond either extreme. For eternal moment, possibility hung between them, the Shadow Emperor's response would determine outcome of conflict older than conventional history. Corruption patterns struggled against restoration possibility, ancient identity resisting fundamental change. Then, with decision that altered cosmic trajectory, Nyxaros accepted integration pathway, not through complete surrender but tentative experimentation with balanced existence. The void consciousness expanded to incorporate creative principles alongside destructive mastery. Shadow state accepting illumination without dissolving entirely. The effect rippled outward from their connection point, spreading through dimensional boundaries to shadow dominion territories across multiple universes. Throughout corrupted realms, absolute destruction gave way to more nuanced approach, shadow entities experiencing first glimmers of creative potential after eons of purely destructive existence. Within the manifestation vortex connecting Shadow Realm to normal space, transformation accelerated exponentially. The Shadow Emperor's attempted physical materialization converted from corruption vector to integration nexus, point where opposed cosmic principles could interface without mutual annihilation. Goku maintained restoration matrix throughout this transition, Ding integration process using combat intuition developed across lifetime of martial arts mastery. Just as fighting opponent required understanding their movement patterns, cosmic rehabilitation required comprehension of corruption's fundamental nature. The process demanded incredible precision, maintaining connection to Nyxaros's consciousness while preventing either complete corruption or destructive purification. Balance rather than dominance became guiding principle, harmony of opposites rather than elimination of either. As integration stabilized, the manifestation vortex transformed from corrupting influence to dimensional gateway, connection point between Shadow Realm and normal space where negotiated exchange could occur without hostile conversion. Unexpected outcome, Nyxaros observed. Void consciousness incorporating creative elements without losing shadow state identity entirely. Partial restoration without complete dissolution of evolved form. Balance doesn't require destroying either side, Goku confirmed. Maintaining connection while gradually withdrawing restoration matrix as integration self-stabilized. Just proper proportion between them. The dimensional gateway completed its transformation. Shadow corruption throughout astral command reversing as integration principles spread outward from central nexus. Station systems returned to normal functionality, reality fra. Chur's healing as creative and destructive forces achieved local equilibrium. With manifestation crisis resolved, Goku prepared to withdraw from direct consciousness connection. The exchange had exact, tremendous toll on his hybrid nature, portions of his draconic essence permanently altered through partial integration with shadow principles. Our interaction concludes temporarily, Nixaros stated. Void consciousness stabilizing in new configuration that incorporated both shadow and light aspects. Integration experiment continues under observation. Final assessment remains pending. Fair enough, Goku acknowledged, recognizing that cosmic rehabilitation represented ongoing process rather than immediate resolution. I'll be watching too. The consciousness connection between them gradually dissolved. Ved as Nixaros withdrew to Shadow Realm, not in defeat but strategic reassessment. The Shadow Emperor hadn't been destroyed or completely redeemed, but fundamental shift had occurred in cosmic balance between creation and destruction. Goku emerged from the transformed vortex into Astral Command's central void, the diplomatic gathering space now converted into permanent dimensional gateway. Shadow Co. Eruption throughout the station had reversed, systems returning to normal functionality as integration principles replaced conversion algorithms. He found the 5 cosmic women waiting for him, their expressions reflecting mixture of astonishment, relief, and deepening respect. Each had observed the transformation through their donated essences, witnessing his unconventional approach to cosmic conflict. You didn't destroy him, Lyra noted, silver eyes studying the dimensional gateway with imperial assessment. Or purify him completely. Neither would have worked long-term, Goku explained, ill-adjusting to the changes within his own draconic essence. Destruction just creates power vacuum for new shadow entity. Purification ignores necessity of entropy in functional cosmos. Integratio. N pathway represents theoretically optimal solution, Nemera observed, her technological systems analyzing the transformed gateway. Though previously calculated as statistically impossible given corruption duration and intensity. The probability matrix reconfigures around novel solution parameters, Saren added, her quantum form stabilizing as cosmic algorithms adjusted to new equilibrium. Bal. Ant's paradigm introduces sustainable outcome potential previously absent from calculation. Kaya approached the gateway, her elemental form sensing the changed relationship between creative and destructive principles. The elements recognize new pattern. Neither pure light nor absolute shadow but dynamic interchange between complementary forces. The ancient harmony reasserts itself, Vila concluded. Golden eyes reflecting satisfaction at outcome aligning with light essence principles. Not through dominance of either extreme but reconciliation of opposed necessities. Goku removed Lyra's crown from his brow, returning the crystalline circlet to its rightful bearer. Thank you, all of you. I couldn't have done this without your trust in your essence. As Lyra reclaimed her crown, their NDS touched briefly, connection between them deepening beyond imperial protocol or strategic alliance. You've transformed cosmic conflict billions of years in making, she acknowledged, silver eyes meeting his with new warmth. The restoration prophecy fulfills itself through unexpected interpretation. The moment between them extended beyond words, dragon and star sovereign recognizing complementa. Nature that transcended their individual cosmic roles. The ancient pact between their kinds wasn't merely political alliance but fundamental balance between creative potential and governing structure. Astral command requires significant reconstruction, Lyra continued, imperial responsibility reasserting itself despite personal connection. The integration gateway presents both opportunity and security consideration. I can help with repairs, Goku offered immediately, ever practical despite cosmic transformation. My draconic abilities should make reconstruction easier. First, you require rest and recovery. Vila interjected, her light essence sensing the changes within his draconic nature. The integration exchange altered aspects of your essence. Stabilization takes priority over reconstruction efforts. Kaya nodded agreement, elemental awareness detecting subtle imbalances in his transformed state. The elements sense disruption patterns requiring harmonization. Your sacrifice, CE carried greater cost than immediately apparent. With that assessment, the initial celebration of victory gave way to practical aftermath management. Astral Command gradually returned to functional status as emergency systems deactivated and evacuated personnel began returning to their posts. The transformed diplomatic void became secure zone around Dimensional Gateway, cosmic technicians establishing monitoring protocols for this unprecedented connection to Shadow Realm. Goku allowed Vila to guide him to Healing Sanctuary where his altered essence could stabilize properly. The integration exchange with Nixaros had indeed changed aspects of his draconic nature, not corruption in conventional sense, but incorporation of shadow understanding that complemented creative potential. You walk between light and shadow now, Vila explained as her healing matrices analyzed these changes. The first dragon to achieve dynamic balance rather than rigid separation between opposed principles. Will that cause problems? Goku asked, genuine concern in his dragon gold eyes. The star dancer smiled gently. It creates new possibilities rather than problems. Where other cosmic entities choose sides in eternal conflict, you demonstrate viable third option. Integration rather than opposition. Over subsequent days, Astral Command transformed around the Dimensional Gateway, no longer merely administrative center for Lyra's cosmic governance but interface point between opposed universal principles. Shadow entities began tentative diplomatic contact through the Gateway, Integration Experiment X. Tending beyond Nixaros himself to broader cosmic relationship. Throughout this transformation, Goku worked closely with the 5 cosmic women who had become integral to his existence since Draconic Ascension. Each relationship evolved beyond initial strategic alliance, developing unique character reflecting their complementary natures. Kaya taught him deeper elemental harmonization techniques, the IR training sessions in the restored elemental nexus revealing mutual appreciation for primal forces that transcended conventional physics. Her passionate elemental nature complemented his warrior spirit, creating dynamic partnership that celebrated physical existence alongside cosmic awareness. Saren explored probability manipulation with him, their quantum interactions generating novel possibility ties that conventional cosmic entities couldn't conceive. Her fluid approach to reality resonated with his adaptable fighting philosophy, both valuing spontaneity over rigid structure. Nemera included him in technological development projects, his intuitive understanding of fundamental forces providing inspiration for innovations she implemented through scientific precision. Their collaboration balanced instinct with calculation, creating integration between opposed cognitive approaches. Vila shared healing techniques that helped stabilize his hybrid essence, their sessions emphasizing compass. Innate wisdom that had characterized his existence even before transformation. Their connection celebrated conscious compassion as cosmic force rather than merely personal virtue. Most significantly, his relationship with Lyra evolved beyond imperial protocol into genuine partnership between complementary cosmic entities. The ancient pact between dragons and star sovereigns, creative potential Bala. NCED by governing structure, manifested through their deepening connection. The Cosmic Council has formally recognized integration pathway as viable alternative to eternal conflict, Lyra informed him. During private moment in her garden sanctuary, the shadow representatives attended their first session yesterday. Preliminary negotiations exceeded probability expectations. That's good progress, Goku acknowledged. Genuine satisfaction in his voice. Though we should expect complications along the way. Lyra studied him with silver eyes that saw beyond physical appearance to essence itself. Quote, you've changed since emerging from the gateway. Not merely the shadow aspects incorporated into your dragon essence, but deeper transformation in how you perceive cosmic responsibility. Goku nodded thoughtfully, hands clasped behind his back as he gazed across the impossible garden. I understand things differently now. Seeing existence from Nixaros's perspective, even briefly, changed how I think about balance. Yet you remain fundamentally yourself, she observed. The warrior heart still beats within the cosmic dragon. That's what saved me in there, he admitted. My connection to who I was before transformation, all those experiences and relationships that shaped me across my life. The human and Saiyan parts that cosmic entities usually lose during ascension. Lyra approached him directly, imperial reserve giving way to genuine emotion rarely displayed during her millennia of cosmic governance. The ancient texts speak of dragons and star sovereigns as complementary forces, Crete. Ion and governance in harmonious relationship rather than opposed principles. I've been thinking about that, Goku replied, turning to face her directly. The integration experiment doesn't just apply to shadow and light. It means balance between all complementary forces. Including us, she asked, rare vulnerability visible beneath imperial composure. Instead of answering with words, Goku gently took her hands in his, physical contact that represented deeper connection between their cosmic essences. Dragon gold eyes met silver ones with warmth that transcended strategic alliance or diplomatic protocol. I may not understand all the ancient cosmic pacts, he said softly, but I know what feels right. And this does. The kiss that followed wasn't merely physical expression but harmonic resonance between complementary cosmic forces, the dynamic equilibrium of creation and governance finding perfect balance between them. Throughout Astral Command, throughout Lyra's vast dominion, throughout Shadow territories now experimenting with integration rather than corruption, throughout countless worlds touched by cosmic restructuring, balance shifted toward sustainable harmony rather than eternal conflict. Not perfect resolution of all opposition, but workable equilibrium between necessary contradictions. The Age of Scales evolved into something more complex and promising than ancient prophecy had anticipated. Not merely restoration of draconic dominance but integration of opposed cosmic principles into more comprehensive whole. The Dragon and the Empress, together with their cosmic allies, established foundation for new cosmic order based on balance rather than dominance of any single principle. Goku found unexpected peace in this new existence, his warrior spirit and draconic nat. You were achieving harmony rather than conflict. The transformation that began as desperate response to universal threat had become purposeful evolution toward more balanced cosmic identity. Sometimes, in quiet moments between cosmic responsibilities, he thought of Earth, the small blue planet where his journey began. He would visit again eventually, sharing his transformation with friends and family who had shaped his pre-cosmic existence. They would hardly recognize what he had become, yet would still see familiar soul beneath draconic appearance. For now, though, the cosmos required his attention. The integration experiment between shadow and light remained a delicate process requiring careful guidance. Alongside Lyra and their cosmic allies, he committed himself to maintaining dynamic equilibrium between creation and destruction. Structure and potential, governance and freedom. The warrior had become dragon, the dragon had found Empress, and together they discovered balance that transcended cosmic opposition. Not ending but beginning. First chapter in cosmic story more complex and beautiful than prophecy could have predicted. In Garden Sanctuary at heart of Astral Command, Dragon and Empress stood together watching impossible flowers bloom beneath starlight. Their hands remained joined, physical expression of cosmic connection deeper than words could express. What happens next? Lyra asked, silver eyes reflecting starlight. Goku smiled, dragon gold eyes warm with both ancient wisdom and youthful enthusiasm that transformation hadn't diminished. We find out together. The cosmos continued its eternal dance. But something fundamental had changed. Balance, not dominance, became guiding principle. Integration, not opposition, shaped cosmic development. The Age of Scales transfer med into Age of Harmony, unexpected evolution beyond ancient prophecy's limited vision. And at the center of this cosmic transformation stood Dragon and Empress, complementary forces in perfect equilibrium. Creating future neither could have achieved alone. Blank. The end. Thank you for watching this video. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel and like this video.